his perspective about smart city. Hello again to Mr. Cristi Câmpineanu. Hello to Mr. Cantemir Mihu and Mr. Raul Apostoiu. In the panel, or need to be in the panel, Mr. Marius Patroi from Spectro, but probably he will join a little bit later. Okay, Pali, you have the floor.
Everyone, as you know from yesterday, we have about minutes. I would to everyone who will Cristi Câmpineanu, who's a partner at and the building digital. We have Marius Patroi, who's a co-founder and general manager of Spectro Smart City and Digital Signage. We have Cantemir Mihu, who's the Chief Technology Officer at Entity Data Romania Society 5.0. And we have Raul Apostoiu, who's a Rollsoft and also a member of the City Council of Sibiu. He will present Sibiu Smart City from past to future. I would like to invite Cristi is not with us right now. Right? Oh, yes, he is. I mean, he's right in front of me. Cristi, would you like to start?
Yes, I can. I'm ready. I also have experience from yesterday. So let's see if everything works. I will
that's why I wanted to start with you.
Yeah. Can you guys see my screen yet?
Yes.
Cool. So my presentation is actually an invitation to dream. At IT Perspectives, we do a lot of cutting-edge projects for Western countries, so countries from the Western Europe, and we can see how they start to build up their societies. So yesterday I was talking about how they build up their societies from the health insurance or the health system, and now I want to talk about how they build up their future cities. In order to everything has data, so something called we tried to investigate if we can do it in Romania as well, but not everyone is willing or understands the beauty of this concept. The building information modeling is actually a process. A lot of people think if they just have the digital version of their project, it's enough, but it's actually not enough. It's the whole process of running your building in both the project side, but also then in the functioning side of the building by data. And everything has to be going around the digital twin. What is the digital twin? It is the full description of the asset or the facility or the building actually. So fully described. It has a few different level of details, of course, because from when you have the idea until you have the full documentation, you go through other steps like the approximate geometry, precise geometry, then fabrication, and as-built, which is also the documentation. There are many standards for it. The most known and commonly accepted is the IFC standard, but there are also many proprietary file formats. The importance of this standardization in any computer language or in any data language is that computers are not great with empirical rules and data. Therefore, in order to have to take advantage of everything that data can offer you, it's good that everybody talks in the same way about the data. For example, Germany has cost standards like the DIN 2076, yes. They're called Industrienorm. And that is a set of standards about everything. in Italy. Unfortunately, cannot find something like that in Romania in order to talk the same language or be able to compare from one building to another. So this is why a lot of architects now, they just quote us per square meter price, rather than coming up with the right price for what you want to build there. Also, the data exchange standardization is very advanced in Germany. Not everybody's using it, but they have this gap system where the files that you take from the owner to the architect and from the architect back to the owner and then to the builder and to the suppliers for the builders, they are standardized and everything is around this digital twin, this electronic project, and everybody can answer in a very consistent way about the things that are described there. The benefits, of course, is a very fast communication between all these players, fast assessment of risks and finance controlling, and the banks can be involved, and they have limited risk in investment. Also, that the owner has the data. At the moment, the owner has very little data about his building. So let's dream it up. If everybody would build like this in a city, then you would actually have the city digital twin. You can have all the layouts of the city in a digital file form, in a digital format. And when you want to build something in that city, you can come up with your own digital twin and say, I want to put it here. Therefore, all authorizations, and you don't even have to go to a huge level of detail because, for example, the authorities don't care about what type of heating you have inside or what type of windows you put in there. They care about the geometry of the building. And that is done very early, so from the idea phase, let's say. So imagine you would upload your digital twin to the town hall's website, and you will get the building certificate and the building authorization in a few seconds rather than 30 days as it is now. Because this, if you have data, you can have rules implemented against the data, and it can run instantly. You will know, if you have the digital twin of your city, you will know exactly where all the pipes in the grounds are. And you will not have conflicts between what one part of or another says about how you want to build and what you can build there actually. Everything will be much faster. The rules will be clear. You won't have a possibility to build, for example, blocks in the middle of houses that we see a lot in Sibiu at the moment. You have a transparency of process and, of course, this very speedy authorization, which we suffer at the moment for. The maintenance of smart cities, if you have the digital twin of the city, is also much easier. All the processes around the cleaning, security, about your costs to run the city are being transparent. You can click on any building and you can see the interest of the authority or the interest of the owner, depends on what level of data you want to, when you have access, of course. You have a clear inventory of the town issues. You can do also with IoT preventive maintenance. And also with computer-aided design, it can give you the needs in certain areas. For example, you have a lot of children in this area because you can integrate the other data from the town hall. You have many children in this area who are between 2 and 5. You need kindergarten in this area. And that's me. I hope I managed to do it in under 10 minutes. I've seen that a lot of there was not time for
you actually managed to do it in 7. we have more time for questions. I might. So the next participant would be Marius Patroi. Is he here with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
thank you very much.
You've arrived. No worries. I'm notorious for being late, so I perfectly understand. I actually can't made it in time today. Marius will present. Marius from Spectro will present Smart City and digital signage. Please, Marius.
Thank you very much for the opportunity of here today. Yes, just and on my presentation. Anybody sees it? Okay. So basically today I will speak to you regarding smart city and digital signage. From my point of view, it's a perfect match. Did you know that the human brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text? Actually, visualization works from a human perspective because we respond and process visual data better than any type of data. In fact, the human brain processes images 60,000 times faster, better than text, and about 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. Since humans are visual by nature, one of the right way to communicate with people in cities is visual communication. Let's talk about some digital stories of success. Beginning with the 1900s, companies in New York started communicating brands to clients through volumetric letters. Starting with the 1950s, companies began by means of billboards in very populated and busy areas in order to differentiate from competitors. In 1992, one of the Times Square filed for bankruptcy protection. In March 1995, the company was sold to financial services firm Lehman Brothers for 27.5 million. They decided to market the tower as a location for advertising in order to capitalize on its visible location within the square. The exterior of one Times Square building was modified to add a grid frame for mounting billboard signs. In current days, Times Square represents the area with the highest revenue income from advertising by being covered with digital screens. Now, jumping to nowadays, I invite you to take a look at how the majority of digital notice boards in public institutions look like. Let's watch together a short illustration where these billboards look, how this billboard looked after implementing digital signage. Moreover, or maybe you've seen in old movies how airport billboards looked like in the past. This is after digital signage. Taking into account the work we have areas where public info is presented like this. However, we also have places that display patient information through digital signage and limit human interaction. We live in an environment where digital signage can be seen everywhere in well-developed countries, smart cities. Just take a look at libraries, train stations, hospitals, office buildings, or public venues. Some examples to support the efficiency of this improved system can be seen in the info points for citizens, raising sales for brands that invested in advertising in heavily transited places such as subway stations, correctly signaled parking and optimized interior traffic, directions for pedestrians in various cities, or simply in city centers. But what does the digital signage contain? The ecosystem embodies 7 main components. The basic is the hardware, such as the display on which the presentations run, the multimedia player, which presents the information, and the server which forwards the data to the player. The second one is the software through which the transmission of data from a central system to multiple displays happened, and the software through which the transmission is done. The third one is the internet connection between the player and the server in order to communicate the data. After that, you need the data provided through the screens to be analyzed, taking into account the target audience. In the meantime, you need the functional system operations like administration and management of the system and the content that's running on the display. As I previously said, brain processes visuals a lot faster than text, so we react almost involuntarily, concluding that a good design can be displayed and capture the audience interest. But after drawing the line, the improvement has to be visible in income and increase in brand awareness. We chose 3 of the most relevant challenges related to this ecosystem based on the last 3 years of digital signage interaction in the Romanian market. So the first one is the software, basically the difficult to use by non-tech users, generating reluctance in trying digital signage system in environments that don't have specialized technical staff. The second one is the operations. Since professional support is provided while installing the ecosystem, the big challenge is encountered when the users have to modify or update the content. They are more comfortable doing what they already know. Go to a display, insert a USB stick, and play the same message or video they copied from the PC to the message placed on the display. And the third one is the business, because return of investment without taking into account all the components, the actual employee expense, including the time going to copy centers, printing costs, mobility, etc., including the fact that without a dynamic solution, money generating digital advertising cannot be included in the profitability calculation. But with new challenges, new opportunities arise. So challenges represent for us a new way of developing a solution. And the solution is Spectro DMS. What do we achieve through Spectro DMS? We achieve the creation of an automated signage platform for both indoor and outdoor scenarios. If that and Spectro DMS, you can control the content on laptop to all the screens to the worldwide. The graphic is very user-friendly. The Spectro player and the Spectro DMS both linked through internet or internal connection for on-premise implementations. We just need to make sure that the Spectro player is powered to electricity, connected to the internet, and the HDMI cable is connected to the screen. And by the way, the Spectro player has the dimensions of a pack of playing cards and can connect to any dimension screen that supports HDMI signal. Now, regarding what can be done by using digital signage solution in Smart City, we have 3 main implementations. The first one is the data-driven digital signage for smarter decisions. Basically, you can drive down the road, walk into a public space, or head to the train station without seeing dynamic advertising, touchscreen kiosk, or even interactive video walls that engage passengers-by with media and useful information. The second one is the display connected to live data that offers a unique way to communicate your message more effectively and in real time. If you, whatever it is to inform people about occupancy before a space or to manage traffic with smart road sign system, any public organization can benefit from this technology to make smarter decisions in near real time. And the last but not the least one, it's display population density. The intelligent road sign systems through the city is a smart city digital signage application to relieve crowded areas. real-time congestion information displayed on LED panels and connected to IoT devices or sensors offer alternatives that can prevent and inform you about staying safe and avoid unpleasant discussions regarding how many people can enter in public locations. What can we do for a smart city? At the smart city. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. You were just on in terms of time. So, thank you. Our president, who was the Chief Technology Officer at Entity Data Romania. He will present Society 5.0.
Okay, thank you. If you can see my shirt.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Cantemir Mihu, and I'm CTO at Entity Data Romania. So I will talk today about defining the smarter society towards which digital transformation is pushing us. And why did I choose this topic is, well, the general topic of the conference is actually the roadmap towards a smarter society, as you can see here in the banner. And our panel's discussions today is smart city. So I want to bring both these topics into the discussion and present the concept of Society 5.0, a concept which has Japanese roots. And as you might know, Entity Data is a Japanese company. So definitely it is a generic topic, so don't expect me to present a technical and concrete smart city solution, because I won't. To better introduce the Society 5.0 topic, let me start with a short recap of previous societies. So in the early beginnings of humanity, the society was just defined by mere survival. That was the only intent. The second society was starting to focus more on collective growth and covering more than individual necessities. So humans organized themselves in what we call Agrarian Society. And this type of society started around 15,000 years ago. But only around 200 years ago, we transformed ourselves into an industrial society with a focus on mass production through industrialization. And with the help of computers and the internet, we are now in information society, where information and data is somehow changing all aspects of social organization, like education, economy, health, or public administration. And definitely this is where we are now. And the thought I want to present now is what will be the next version of our society. And this comes, I hope, as a natural question. And obviously and naturally, this is Society 5.0 or 5.0, and this is what I call a digital society. Let us take a closer look at how it is defined. So Society 5.0 as a term was first coined 5 years ago by Japan's national government in their fifth basic science and technology plan as a future society that Japan should aspire to. Not only Japan, of course, but the entire world. But she takes this serious and promotes public decision and direction and guidance future evolution. Initially, super smart. A super smart society, this is a little bit far-fetched, right? So that's why let me present a more concrete definition from the Japanese Business Federation, where Entity Data is also a contributing member. And this is displayed here on the slide. It's a human-centered society with a very strong emphasis on human-centered that balances economic advancement with the resolution of social problems. And this is done by a system that highly integrates cyberspace and physical space. Okay, so Society 5.0 aims to solve the problems created by Society 4.0 through a shift of paradigm by putting the human in the center. And human-centered is here the keyword, I would say. Economic advancements in the versions 3.0 and 4.0 have solved some societal issues, but at the same time created many others. And Society 5.0 is supposed to eliminate regional age, gender, and language gaps and enable the provision of products and services finally tailored to diverse individual needs. It can do this by digital transformation, of course, but combined with imagination and creativity. Value creation per se needs to be tightly correlated with problem solving instead of economic growth. The concept of shared value means here that the solution of societal issues creates both social and economic benefit, and this is attracting attention even in corporate management. Companies, corporates are pitching now the idea of sustainability and together. But let's see what type of referring to and how solved. Knowledge and information is not shared to its full potential. It is still siloed and scattered. And in future, the shared value will be born by bringing together information and data, be it from persons, processes, or devices. Humans need to be liberated more and more from different constraints that they have currently, such as age, region, or gender. And especially elderly or impaired people will be liberated from various types of constraints. Or information analysis needs to become trivial and accessible. And the democratization of knowledge and AI-based support will ease the analysis of huge amounts of information. By augmenting their physical capabilities, people will be freed of tedious physical work. And because we will be interacting a lot more in and with the cyberspace, we need to find other means of providing trust amongst each other. And how can we ensure trustworthiness online? And for instance, as an example, at our entity R&D forum last week, a digital social capital platform has been introduced, which aims to solve this type of problems, the type of trust problems. And as you might well intend, it is a blockchain-based platform. So I have presented what Society 5.0 strives to accomplish, and but what are the main differences to our current society? Well, the most important difference is related to the merging or the fusion of cyberspace and physical space up to a point where we won't be able to make a distinction about what is cyber and what is physical. And in the current information society, the common practice is to collect and store information in the cloud. That's what we know as of today, and have it analyzed by humans. We directly access this information from the cloud. We do that by searching online, by accessing data, and have it analyzed through BI or other tools that we currently have. In the next version of the society, however, people, things, and systems are all connected in cyberspace, and optimal results are fed back to physical space. And the physical space will consume this input, and the physical space will depend and be coordinated by the information coming out of the cyberspace. This process brings new value to industry and society in ways not previously possible. And a very good example for this is autonomous driving, right? Because an autonomous car will depend heavily on big data and AI, and will be interconnected through cyberspace to different other cars and the physical space altogether. Good. So we have made big steps related to big data, AI, IoT, blockchain, and robotics. But we will have to do much more in order to incorporate these new technologies in all industries and social activities. But coming back to the topic of smart cities, until 2050, almost 2/3 of the world population will live in urban areas. And this is why Society 5.0 is even more important in the context of smart cities. When talking about smart cities, usually one thing is structure, frameworks, and forms, and less about people. But we need, in my opinion, to everything only relevant if it's to an improved society. And everything we do, of course, has to be in harmony with nature. It just has to be. Because without sustainability, no form of society will be successful on the long term. And speaking about sustainability, the United Nations defined 17 sustainability development goals. And at least 8 of them are closely related to smart cities. I want to encourage you to consider at least 8 goals whenever we are discussing about digital transformation and smart cities. Technology and digital transformation should, of course, improve the well-being, the quality of education, to provide decent work and economic growth, and to make cities more sustainable through balance of gender equality by ensuring a responsible production and to provide sanitation and improve the climate. And I know this sounds really like an utopic world, doesn't it? Yes, it does. But this is on purpose. We just have to set up high goals for ourselves and for the generations to come. And I want to close my presentation by asking these questions. How can we make cities both digital and green? These are the key terms nowadays. And what is my contribution as an individual towards this mindset? And of course, the next society version 6.0, who will be responsible for increasing of the... Thank you. My presentation.
Much Kantemir. Great question. And it's kind of funny that mine has a similar idea, but we'll get to mine afterwards. Our next presenter is Raul Andrei Apostoiu, a manager at Allsoft and also a member of the City Council of Sibiu. So he might have an actual input when it comes to smart cities, and why not start with Sibiu? We already are first, as we discussed earlier, an unfortunate first at COVID cases, but let's try to be first at other things as well. So his presentation is Sibiu Smart City from Past to Future. Please.
Yes, thank you, Vali. First of all, I want to ask you if you see my slides.
Yes, we can see it.
It's a great honor for me to be next with you in this panel. It's a very great opportunity, as you mentioned previously, to talk about smart cities, because, as you mentioned, I'm also manager of Allsoft, and also, but on this presentation, I to speak from the smart cities, and this concept is the priority of Sibiu. Make a definition, because first of all we should understand what is a smart city, and a smart city from the point of view of the European Commission is a place where traditional networks and services are made more efficient with the use of digital and telecommunication technologies for the benefit of its inhabitants and businesses. Of course, we cannot talk about smart cities and technology without talking about people, because people must be in the center of the benefits of the life quality. So we should talk all the time about the fact that smart cities are about people. So let's get some old points. I mean, the first initiative of Smart City project was in August 2012, when president of the Romanian Energy Center, together with Mayor Klaus Iohannis from that moment, the mayor of Sibiu from that moment, initiate a pilot project for optimization of energy efficiency in terms of reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. Later on, in March 2013, Major Klaus Iohannis, with a representative of the Romanian Energy Center, signed a memorandum regarding the first Smart City Sibiu pilot project. As the press mentioned at that moment, headlined the news, Smart City Sibiu, the first smart city in the country. Later on, in April 2014, by the decision of the local council of Sibiu municipality, was issued the Sustainable Energy Action Plan of Municipality of Sibiu, which was the first strategic document regarding the Sibiu Smart City strategy. Also aiming the green energy and CO2 reduction, maybe that could be a discussion about Sibiu, the green city, as my previous speaker mentioned it. In May 2018, the Sibiu initiated a program for 2000. That is also an initiative to start Smart City project, but also it's a later in April 2019, the Romanian Association for Smart City and Mobility launched the Smart City Caravan Stage 2.0, the implementation at the Sibiu City Hall, in the presence of the Mayor of Sibiu, Astrid Cora Fodor. And with this occasion, the mayor says we do not just want to implement smart projects, but integrate solutions that have beneficial effects for as many citizens as possible. We believe that smart projects need to address the needs of communities and the context, because every city is different. What is great, she says, it's if we talk about Sibiu, the figures show us that it is the successful combination between history and present. It is a cultural center, a top tourist destination, and a successful economic environment. Now let's be in present, let's say like that, and the current situation of the Sibiu as a smart city, it's in the top 10 of the Romanian cities, based on a smart city radiography made by Vegacomp, a company which analyzed all the projects in Romania, the smart city projects in Romania. And we can say that we have, as you can see in the table, 16 projects. 5 of them are from the smart economy vertical, 5 are smart mobility projects, nothing in the environment area, nothing on the people, the smart people vertical, 2 on smart living, and 4 on smart governance. Of course, meantime, this position is outdated a bit, because meantime other projects are initiated and finalized by the Sibiu City Hall. Anyway, what is important to understand that currently the Sibiu City does not have a long-term strategy to implement the concept of smart city. And as I mentioned previously, the last document, Sibiu Intelligent City, the Action Plan for Sustainable Energy in Sibiu Municipality, it's also outdated. So it's a must to have a long-term strategy that defines the sustainable development of Sibiu, that reflects the actual status and the future of sustainable development. Of course, also the integrated development strategy of Sibiu and the sustainable represents the development, nor the strategy for transforming the city into a smart one. What is our proposal, or what should be done? And I think this we can discuss later. In my opinion, the most important is to define a strategy, because the Sibiu city must have a smart city strategy, and with the aim, of course, to have a sustainable development with the condition of assuring the increase of quality life of the citizens. The second aspect, the second point should be to create a commission for innovation and smart city strategy at the level of the Sibiu Local Council. And this commission must add members from different areas. Of course, must have local councillor representative in this commission, the Sibiu city manager, which is a very important position because we will take the responsibility of implementing the strategy, the specialist from Sibiu City Hall, the Lucian Blaga representative, the academic area, of course, the local business environment representative, specialists with sectorial skills. Of course, all the strategic decision and approvals of the projects that are initiated will consult these commissions. The third point should be the realization and the assumption of an action plan for the implementation of the Sibiu Smart City strategy. And as I mentioned previously, this must be coordinated by the city mayor and with the help or undertaken by the Sibiu city manager. Okay, let's talk about some objectives for the future. And as you know, as the basic verticals, the 6 verticals of the smart cities, the smart economy, and here we can mention projects or building objectives as Campineanu mentioned previously. It's a very interesting area, and here I just want to say the term of BMS, the Building Management System, which is an interconnection of multiple subsystems. Maybe we have another occasion to talk about that. Intelligent and economically street lighting, that's already under work in Sibiu. Some of the public lighting systems are replaced with LED systems. Another very important point is the smart mobility. And here we can speak about the gradual replacements of the fleet with electrical vehicles. That could be a trend and a good start. Then it's a very interesting project that is under debate now currently on the Sibiu City Hall, the urban electric train. And we have a proposal for a cat-free system. That's a train which is powered by batteries. Of course, if we are talking about smart mobility, we cannot forget the electronic ticketing system, an integrated system for any kind of public transportation vehicles or systems. Then integrated information system real time in the vehicles, it's a must. The biggest problem of Sibiu are the parking places. And we can solve this situation providing smart parking systems. Then the last but not least, and very important, is the intelligent urban traffic management system. But this we can discuss maybe later when all the traffic infrastructure is prepared for that. Smart environment, very, very important. And as an opinion or as a thought, the European community is providing a very good financial and fundraising plans for the next years from 2021 to 2027, and we have to take the opportunity to use those money for smart environment project. Of course, I just want to remember the intelligent waste collection management, the Sibiu Green City using the renewable energy, and of course the life quality systems, the integrated air quality monitoring system, the integrated consumer drinking water, and the noise measurement system. Sorry. Yes, was a presentation, a very nice presentation about Society 5.0. Of course, we cannot talk about smart city without talking about smart people. That is very important, and we have to provide and continue to provide online education, which is actually a priority under the pandemic situation for the schools and the children's. And also to provide digital alphabetization to everyone, because you cannot have a smart city without smart people and able to use all the facilities of a smart city. Of course, the Signage and the citizen information system also was mentioned previously in a presentation. Smart living brings good facilities for the Sibiu citizens, can bring good facilities for Sibiu citizens. And here we can talk about Wi-Fi hotspot in all public places, monitoring and rapid alert for system for people, for medical consultation, a booking system and electronic bookings, online booking system, to implement in all the interactions with the public services, electronic payments. That's a must also in the current pandemic situation, and of course, telemedicine system. Last but not least, and very important, the smart governance. This is maybe the most used in the present and most advanced in the present vertical of smart city in the Sibiu City Hall, because it already has implemented the e-administration platform. You can, you know it, and this is possible to check. But it's a must to extend this platform with a one-stop shop concept. And another point here I want to mention is the GIS platform, the Geographic Information System, which is, let's say, the basement of digitalization in the public administration, because it's underlaying all the information and structure the data that provides information for durability development of Sibiu. And why not to redesign the online platform, the web platform of Sibiu.ro. Okay, in the final, I think it's a great opportunity again to speak about Smart City, and that's why I would like to launch an invitation to the organizer of this event, Lucian Blaga, University of Sibiu, and Hesop Platner Institute and Cluj IT Cluster, because I saw before to participate to this presentation, they make big steps in smart cities in Cluj and in other cities, so it's a great opportunity to invite them and discuss about how we can contribute to the shaping of Sibiu as a smart city, actively participating in strategy development and Sibiu Smart City project. Of course, this event is an excellent opportunity that brings together the academic and business environment in the creative, intelligent community that underlies smart cities. Sibiu Innovation Days can represent the spark and energy to start and achieve the sustainable digital transformation of Sibiu into a smart city. So that's are my thoughts. Thank you very much for watching me, and I'm waiting for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raul. Now I will share my screen shortly. I would like to commend everyone that held the presentation. I think it was a very well documented and robust panel. With that in mind, I would like to start my presentation. I assume everyone can see my screen. My bad. You should see it now.
Loading.
Right. So I would like to do this a bit ad hoc. I have written, but I don't want to read off a paper. The idea behind this is very similar to what the previous speakers presented, and I am really happy to see that we think alike. It's maybe very similar to Society 5.0. It's a humanistic approach to an automated city, a city governed with the help of AI, not by AI, a city that is destined to serve the people in a way that brings comfort and that helps everyone have a better quality of living. So it's thought in a way very similar to what was presented, and like I said, that brings me a lot of joy. So the issues with automation and data is that, like I mentioned here, collecting data does not solve the problems. Democratizing data does, because although we love the idea of the assisted life, we like the idea of the comfort that we have by using all the technology that is handed to us by various companies, mostly Apple, Google, Amazon, and a couple of small companies out there. We don't feel very connected to the technology that serves us. We use it in a decentralized manner. And what a smart city can bring is it can help us really connect and really play a role in growing the city, in helping the city evolve. I saw earlier a mention of having a twin city or a twin building. That is something that I look forward to, and that's something that is achievable if we get everyone involved in a democratic and also in a governed way. I'm saying here that we should shift the data-centric to consumer-centric when it comes to smart city. With that in mind, and with all the love for the tech community out there, I want to say this. Of course, this is a pun. Dear dorks and nerds, the world does not understand or have our needs. You might know many languages in the world, but you need to speak human if you want to solve human problems, not problems. The most powerful minority that ever walked the earth. Let's make it count. Revolves around, if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you're involved in AI, you try to solve every problem with AI. If you're involved in automation, you try to solve every problem with automation. What I'm proposing is to solve the problems using those tools as tools, not being enslaved to them in any way, and also keeping always the trust of the community that we serve. So if you want to share information with the constituents, and I say constituents with something in mind, and I will bring that very soon to light. We want to show data, we want to show things such as energy consumption, city expenses, undergoing projects, which is very important when it comes to how the city evolves, how the construction of the city evolves, because we don't want to have decentralized hubs where some people build skyscrapers and others build small houses, because you can get a permit from the municipality easier if you build 2-story buildings instead of building 20-story buildings. That's something that can be solved in the future by having some standardized and well-planned extension of the city itself. We can talk about future events. A city can propose things to their constituents. What do you want us to do more? You want us to shift towards culture, towards culinary events, towards music, towards I don't know. Us in Sibiu, we've prided ourselves for a long time now being the cultural capital. We can help other cities become capitals of something. Can be cultural capital, music capital, why not party capital? That should also be something. After COVID, of course, which is a minor inconvenience in our lives, hopefully minor. Congestions. So this can be used very easily, and all the people that are in tech know what I'm referring to. You can tap into Waze, Google API, and you can have all that presented in a daily brief for your constituents. How does the traffic look like? Is there an event going on? These are things that in some cases are presented by the phone itself, but you can have everything centralized and everything presented in a very transparent way, which can bring then trust and involvement from the people, because that's what we need in order to move forward. We need a collective mind and a collective interest in order for things to move in a good direction. Polls. I mentioned here polls, and I underlined it for a reason. You can have polls for the constituents. What do you want us to prioritize? What do you want us to do? And you can have, of course, statistics. And when I say statistics, I get into the bread and butter of this idea, because you can have. I'll go past this slide because I already mentioned it. I just presented here a small example of how an app like this could look like, because it has to be an app, because everybody has a smartphone and everybody is connected to the internet. We are past that. That was a 4.0 society. Now, if we're going to 5, then we have to take into account that everybody has a smartphone, everybody uses the internet. I also mentioned listings here, and as Raul mentioned, including health, you can do appointments, you can report things. This is another thing that I want to mention, and I'm moving for a little faster here to finish up with without now, and we'll run out of it soon. Reporting issues. How about reporting issues, which is something that I very much for. What about reporting crimes in your region? Corruption, nature, fires. I know you can dial 911 or 112 in Europe, but corruption. Who dials 112 for corruption? Nobody. But you can actually use it to report to your leaders, or the leaders that you have elected. You can report that, and then you can see what measures are taken. And of course, this is not someone ruling the city from their bed. You can report it, it can be analyzed, it can be sent to the proper authorities, and then they will get a result back. But if 200 people say that X is a corrupt, I don't know, politician or member of any institution, it might be some truth to that. Now I get to the bread and butter, blockchain voting. My idea is, if you can wire $1 million via an app, you can vote. If we can send a ridiculous amount of money using a phone, an app, and maybe some blockchain technology, why can't we vote? We look at the US elections, the US that gave us the internet, that gave us Bluetooth, that gave us NFC, and we look at their anachronic way of voting by mail and how ridiculous it is. Why can we vote using an app? Estonia is a great example. They went past all that if it's not broken, don't fix it mentality. I say, if it's not broken, don't fix it, but improve it from time to time, because things and changes, and you need to move. Why not using an app? Have statistics for the people that to see if they are, as I shown here, they are in accordance with your views or not, with the things that you proposed. Have they served you well? You need to have information in order to make an educated decision, and in order not to forget what happened along the way, because as we know, memory tends to be short. All of this is achieved by automation, by AI, by microservices, but the technology behind it is not relevant. The technology we know how to implement. We need to have a humanistic approach and a philosophy in order to implement this well. As I mentioned here, I can speak about this for days. That's why I didn't have anything actually written for it. But we can do a lot of good by detaching ourselves from the old and moving towards new. Thank you so much. We can start with the questions. I might have some as well, but if my participants have any, I'm listening.
Thank you very much, Vali. I saw some questions or some short ideas about debates on the chat. We have also around 5 minutes for extended or answering to these debates. Please loud or ask a little bit to this.
I have seen that Vali has a lot of things about people being involved. Lucian Rusu has already said that we have something like a poll in the City Hall at the moment. How do you propose to get people more involved? I don't think a lot of people get involved with this kind of stuff. And even if you look at the local elections, not a lot of people go and vote there and express their will. I don't think we have this voting education yet. And how do you think and how do you propose this level of people being involved in the city's life?
Christy, that's an excellent question. I think the reason why people don't get involved is because they're not allowed to participate usually in activities. And once that picks off, they will be involved because they will share a part of themselves with the city, and then they will care what happens. If you get involved in what happens if a park gets demolished and a brand new building is built, and you actually win that idea, and you say, okay, I've contributed to that park. My philosophy of a clean environment, of I don't know, not turning everything into concrete had prevailed, then I also run this city. And when people feel that, they get involved. I've been running a company for 8 years, and I know from experience that when you give, you actually use democracy, you get back from it, and you win from it.
I want also to complete that this could be a first step of joining force from administration, force from companies, force from academia, and to promote, to disseminate, to say more the needs of this town, this city, and everybody try to do best. Probably will evolve a little bit. Probably not more, step by step, in my opinion.
If you allow me to make a remark, yeah, electronic voting, it's a must. I mean, we have to speak from now on about electronic voting because we have the Z generation, which is coming now. The Z generation is the most digitalized generation of us, and they will decide the future of us. So we have to cover and catch this generation to involve and make responsible, but their decisions. So yes, why not? We have to fight for this electronic voting, but of course that's a political issue. First of all, we have to have a law which allows this electronic voting, and second, we have to discuss about our digital identity, which is defined, of course, by the electronic ID card, which is under debating now in the Parliament of Romania. So I hope next year we have to discuss more about this electronic voting.
I have so many questions and so much to say about what's going on. I was just asking Raul earlier on the chat, is there a plan to teach people in this digital world, to teach more people how to use computer and technology? I think it's a society problem or an administration problem, because a lot of elderly people and people who are not as tech savvy as us, who do online chats and online conferences, they are even afraid to use cash machines or pay online, and they will be afraid to buy tickets from the machine. They will be afraid to interact with any type of technology of the smart city. So I think we should start with teaching the population how to interact with the internet and with digital things. Is there a plan or at least a thought from the administration in this side?
Thank you, Christy. I can say that there are steps in providing the infrastructure. I mean, the city hall, we just vote a law that provides anything hardware infrastructure for the teachers in the schools to be able to support the online school currently. My personal proposal was to when you give the laptop, yes, you should provide also basic training to use the online tools and everything. I hope that the education ministry will provide necessary hours of training for each teacher to be able to learn by himself later the children to use the technology. I will fight for that. Yes, there are some steps. I hope definitely that next year also the community will involve much more in this area because it's necessary. And as you know, we have a lot of actions in these initiatives, but definitely we'll make steps. As I mentioned previously in my presentation, we cannot talk about smart cities without digital alphabetization, which is mandatory in Romania. Thank you.
I was also more active on the chat, trying to be proactive with the questions. Raul, one question. Do you know if the City Hall has some projects in the direction of forcing the developers to build some smart neighborhoods? As in, look at the surroundings of Sibiu, for example, Șelimber, Calea Cisnădie, and so on, where there is way far from even the communist era. Let's not go in the direction of smart city. Everything is crowded, no green spaces, not even internet in some of the regions and so on. Why are we discussing about creating something smart if we cannot force the developers to build directly that way? Because else, in 10 years from now, we'll discuss on what can you do in those brand new neighborhoods to get them smart. As in, we should build that way.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, and it's obviously it's visible. I mean, everyone can see the development of our neighborhoods. That's my aim. In this mandate, my wish is to get involved in the public administration, the digitalization, and make it as smarter as possible, as smart as I can, and my colleagues to do. So again, I think it's a great opportunity for us, for all the participants to this panel, which are dreaming smart and to smart city concept, to get together and bring our voice in the city council and in the city hall, to bring our experience, to bring our wishes, and to explain to others that the Sibiu has a great opportunity and a great community, intelligent community, that can express his experience to the people. Because again, smart cities are about people. So let's do this. Okay, we'll see. But again, it's a chance to get together and get involved in that. Okay? Thank you.
Vali, very short, please, because
I actually had a question for you.
yes.
Exactly, I had a question for you. If we can continue, we should take this because I know that the time has been,
in my opinion,
reached.
I have the emails of all of you, and also you have mine. We can organize a topical session only about this smart city concept because, in my opinion, as you can see now, we attract a lot of questions regarding this topic. There was also questions yesterday, but it was regarding about our job more. Here is about our life and with different perspectives, because smart city as a concept has many views, but as every of you show here. Yes, I will think about it, and maybe together with Raul and with all of you and also other colleagues that are interested, because it was a conference for Sibiu, for community of Sibiu, but learning from other sides or from other geographical cities to improve here in our neighborhood, as Lucian said.
And the faculty can get involved. We can get involved. We can have a discussion, and maybe something can come out of this. I would also like to thank everyone.
I will think about it. I will also discuss first with Raul, probably in the beginning of the next year, to send to all of the people who participate to this conference, if they want to participate with specific smart city and smart society as we saw. Thank you very much for all. If there are some questions, I keep it from the chat, and I will send to the destination, and then I will ask kindly to send the answer for all, because as I said, it's about Sibiu, it's about us. Thank you very much. We have also some constraint after 2 o'clock regarding this room. Pandemic is nearby us, and even in the lobby of this Faculty of Art, it needs to come to make disinfection, and we don't want to extend too much. So thank you very much. I will close the registration, and please, I will invite people from the Digitalization and Industry 4.0 who want there, and we'll start very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, and thank you very much that you join us, the speakers from Digitalization. Lucian was here from the beginning. Thank you, Alex Bian, who comes here. Thank you, Sebastian Negomirianu. Thank you, Ana Correa, that I saw you. I hope I don't take too early from your office. Thank you very much that you joined. Thank you, George, Ionut, and I hope Mr. Hollander also will join. For the moment, I don't see him.
I will ping him on Teams.
Yes, okay. So I propose, because we have also two, but probably people listen us. We drink between speaking. I invite Lucian Rusu from Continental, who is the moderator, to be in charge and to present the team, the speakers, and have a good session. Please.
Okay. I will share my entire screen. So let's start like this. So we have first digital and industry 4 topics in in our Sibiu Innovation Days. I am Lucian Rusu from Central Industry Engineering of Continental Sibiu. Lead topics like software development, mechanical design, 3D printing, automations, and mostly everything that means Industry 4.0 at Plant Continental. And in the next one and almost 1.5 hours, we'll have presentations from different companies, as in digitization and Industry 4.0 with Sebastian Negomireanu, a user story in the context of Industry 4.0 with Vălean Ioan, both from a Web Factory company, Industry 4.0 cobots and AGVs, impact in industry with Alexandru Bian from Continental Sibiu, SAP Hana as the architecture of fast data processing with Mark Hollander from Bearing Point Software Solutions, reporting evolution from physical signed paper towards granular data accessibility with George Bontaș, again from Bearing Point Software Solutions, and research and innovation for Europe Digital Decade with Ana Luisa Carea from European Commission. So let's start with Sebastian. Sebastian, you can take the lead of the presentation.
Just a moment, let me share my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Sebastian Negomireanu. I am the head of product development and research and development of Web Factory. And I'm really excited to start today's Industry 4.0 panel and discuss about a topic that I think is very actual and hot, and that is Industry 4.0, digitalization and the cloud. So, how did we get to Industry 4.0? What is Industry 4.0? The first industrial revolution was all about coal and steam power. It was a major turning point in history and the moment when the focus started to shift from agriculture and village communities to industries and cities. The second industrial revolution came about with the invention of electricity. This enabled mass production and moved the progress beyond cities and allowed scaling across countries and continents. The third industrial revolution was all about computers and automation. Digital systems, communication, and eventually internet and mass communications allowed the ultimate goal in scaling, and that is globalization. And now we are at the fourth industrial revolution. And while the first three ones revolved around improving machinery and scaling up, Industry 4.0 is all about merging the human and computer-based capabilities. And it's the time of smart devices, AI-powered processes, on-demand manufacturing and prototyping, smart cities, sustainable energy, and disruption. So in this context, the cloud is just a natural step in the development of Industry 4.0, and it's supporting the globalization process. It acts as a backbone for big data and for the remote collaboration. And the cloud means basically scalability and the economy of scale. So what are the benefits of the cloud? Why go to the cloud? First of all, due to its relatively unlimited resources and scalability, the cloud facilitates collecting long-term sensor data and counter data, as well as events and alarms. Having access to all of this long-term data allows identifying trends and patterns, which are the basis for optimizing the existing processes, implementing energy management measures, cutting down production costs. Also, the collected data can be used for training AI and for machine learning algorithms, and in the end can provide the tools to take proactive actions in order to reduce production downtime and to take preventive maintenance measures. Also, the cloud acts as a central hub, allowing correlation of production, business, and financial data. Not only that industrial processes and machinery can be controlled and monitored from distance, but at the same time, valuable information can be analyzed, such as consumption of various mediums, like electricity or gas consumption or other types of mediums. but also we can get running time information, downtime information, and so on. And all of this data can be correlated with information that comes from external systems like the company's ERP systems or other types of systems that in the end, working together, they can provide up-to-date business intelligence and insight. Also because the cloud acts as a central data store, especially in large organizations, it can act as a critical tool for information sharing and collaboration. And this helps breaking down the organizational silos, which in the end everybody tries to find solution to eliminating them. This is more important when it comes to remote control and interaction, especially in the present when traveling is nowadays a risk and is subject to a lot of restrictions. Having the possibility to connect remote specialists with the local on-site workers or support teams can reduce costs and especially can reduce risks, especially health risks. There is much more to say about why to use the cloud. We are still at the moment in relatively early stages of cloud usage in terms of the industrial field. But we can see an accelerated digitalization process that happens now in more and more industries and much faster cloud adoption. And I think this year, especially with the Corona crisis, a lot of the industries and especially the big industrial players have seen a real need to accelerate this digitalization process and to adopt cloud, because in the end we do not have so many other options right now, and probably this will shape how the future will look like in the next years in the post-COVID landscape. So I want to share with you a bit of our company's history to see how we got to the cloud. Our success story started in 2000 when we launched our first own SCADA software product. And until 2014, we were mainly focused on providing web-based SCADA solutions. In 2014, we've launched a new line of products, our i4 Energy solution. And this actually marked the technological switch, first of all, to HTML5. And it also marked the starting point to what we are now offering as our cloud solution. Over the following years, our product suite has been extended, and now we have a complete and mature industrial solution that offers energy management, monitoring, SCADA, alarm and event monitoring and reporting. So altogether, we provide a complete solution for industrial customers that want to either control or to analyze how their installations are doing. And our vision is just this, to provide such a centralized control, such a centralized cloud solution for industrial automation control, data acquisition, analysis, all of it accessible over standard modern internet browsers. So we don't want to go back to the time when we had dedicated software for doing various processes, but instead we want to offer the possibility to connect from anywhere in the world to physical installations by using just a standard web browser and nothing else, and allowing our customers to have insight, direct insight, and full control over their physical processes. So in the present, our solution is actually capable of connecting to a large number of data sources that are either running in the cloud or are exposed from on-premise installations via smart gateways or smart device technology. The data that is used in the analysis and the reporting stages comes from not only from multi-protocol process data, but also contains structured and unstructured information collected from various other sources, such as machine-generated text files, databases, ERP systems, CRM systems, and many more. Also, starting with April 2019, our company is part of HMS Industrial Networks Group. HMS is the leader in making industrial devices and systems communicate with each other. And with more than 7 million installations over 50 countries, this is a perfect match for us because it allows us to connect to even larger number of devices and to extend the reach of our, at the moment, hybrid, but also cloud-native industrial software solutions. So at the moment we are serving a lot of customers. We have a lot of big key customers and an even bigger number of smaller customers that come from very different industries. Of course, we have automotive industry, we have building and facility management, intralogistics, refrigeration, climate solutions, and many other types of services. And with our current focus in the cloud, we are actually expanding even more to cover also the area of machine builders and device manufacturers. And I guess one of the important questions is, what does the future hold? What is our vision about the future? We've seen in the last years, and especially in the current year, because of the accelerated change forced by the current crisis, that our customers have turned to a much faster cloud adoption. In the past, there was always a discussion with the customers about data ownership. Especially the big customers were always afraid to have their data running in the cloud or to access data over internet, and the focus was always having everything on premise. But now, especially with the need of remote work and the need of and the limitations in travel, most of our customers are now seeing the benefits of going into the cloud and being able to connect remote teams directly and to bring specialists from across their entire organization together. At the moment, there is the shift to the cloud is happening in stages. So there are a lot of customers that are going to a high approach where they have both on-prem and cloud solutions, but this is just preparing the groundwork for moving completely to the cloud. And this is in line with our vision, as we are focusing on bringing support for more devices and data sources, and we are focusing more on IoT devices and industrial IoT devices, smart gateways and cloud data hubs, and allowing them to integrate with our software solution. So also the fact that we are part of HMS Industrial Solutions, this offers us a great boost and potential in this direction. Also, in order to be able to benefit from the cloud scalability and to leverage the economy of scale, we've made major steps forward for transitioning our products to a multi-tenant industrial solution, software as a service solution in the end. Our main focus is actually near zero engineering time. This is a key aspect of our customers. They are always the cost of engineering increases with the time required to do the engineering, so they are always trying to reduce this time and to optimize how fast they can bring their physical processes to the digital world. And of course, as I said also before, we are mainly focused on making this accessible using only standard browser technology. We do not want to, we want to reduce the IT overhead, we want to reduce the complexity of the security systems required to run physical processes. And last but not least, even though we want to have near zero engineering time, we still need to give our customers the possibility to have complete control over their processes and to be able to map their physical processes to the digital world. And for this, we've launched our first 100% cloud native, what you see is what you get, SCADA designer tool, which allows us to actually just use a browser to design visualizations for physical processes and to deploy them with one click and to run them. There's a lot more to say, but unfortunately this short time doesn't allow me to go deeper into these topics. But at the end of this presentation, I would like to draw some conclusions about the role of the cloud in the digitalization process. So first of all, the cloud greatly reduces the costs of building, running, and maintaining physical infrastructure. The IT costs and risks are definitely removed by leveraging managed infrastructure, and the focus is shifting from regular IT to operations, to ops and DevOps. Also, industry providers and manufacturers are now undergoing a shift from a device-centric approach to a service-centric one. The cloud software solutions bring the necessary tools to help them make this shift, and they help them move faster in this direction. Also, the fact that we have nearly unlimited data and processing power supported by the cloud can give us a lot of new perspectives and can drive innovation, can drive the processes that will be part of the future of industry. And it also allows us to take advantage, especially of the latest developments in AI, in machine learning. Even though the internet speeds are at an all-time high, and they will only go higher with the upcoming 5G, which will also reduce internet network latency, we still see at the moment a need to have edge devices such as gateways or smart devices. It's still not possible to connect everything directly to the cloud, so we still need to run hardware on premise, but this hardware is becoming thinner, and the logic behind it is moving gradually to the cloud. So in the end, we will end up probably with some very simple devices and very little infrastructure needed to run industrial processes. As a final point, as we all know, the current pandemic situation has made a major impact on everyone's lives, and the safety requirements and travel restrictions can be greatly alleviated by the use of cloud solutions. Telepresence and remote working and remote access especially are more important than ever, and digital cloud is a solution for these needs, as it's providing the infrastructure needed to connect completely remote teams, remote people, and remote physical installations together without having to create very complicated infrastructure. So I think this was just an opening topic for the digital transformation in the context of industry. I hope this will inspire you and open up your eyes to the possibilities that the cloud will bring. And I want to thank you for your attention.
Perfect. Guys, please use the chat in order to address some questions. If you want, we'll answer to them at the end. Okay, next, Văleanu Ioan, you can take over.
Okay, thank you. Just presenting.
Mm-hmm.
Know when you see my screen?
All good.
Okay, perfect. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for the event organizers for the opportunity to be part of this very interesting group of people. It's a shame that we cannot meet you all in person at this time, but I'm sure that opportunities will arise and will do so in the future. So because the format of this conference provides a short time for each presentation, I will not go into any technical depth. For that, you can contact me afterwards and we can gladly discuss, but I will use this time in order to tell you a story. This story is, of course, in the context of digitalization. It is a story about the most important part of any process. It is a user story. So, in the previous presentation, you saw my colleague and you saw all the different iterations of the industry and standards of from manufacturing to production line automation and current industry 4.0, and also an idea about moving forward, iterating next this protocol. But a constant of all these industry types is the user. A user with his specific needs that has a personal idea in mind, that has the correct hardware already installed. He has the software that can make data acquisitions, maybe provide some control, but his problems, his specific problems, just begin. This user is normally thought as a process engineer, and in order to make this a little bit more friendly, I will give it this user a name. I will call him Bob. This Bob has a series of questions, of course, besides the software and the hardware that he has. So in the next step, please join me in answering some of these questions or concerns that he and also users like Bob have. So let's start off. Bob states that on top of all the hardware and software that he has installed already, a user is required to have another software suite that will run in a specific hardware context that he must configure and maintain through updates and patches on his site, other than his own project, of course. That is a lot of work for him, for which he has a general concern about. So I would say will be, what if you can just use the browser, log in from any machine, anywhere in the world, maintain only his specific problem, his specific project, update it, change it, and not think about anything else. Every time Bob refreshes the browser window, for example, he can use the latest and most bug-free version of the tool there is. So we speak about no infrastructure needed, just the browser. Okay, we got Bob's attention for this first concern. So now Bob hears in the industry words like HTML5, Angular, React, etc. So these are languages and frameworks that become industry standards for some time, but the standards, as we know, change over the years. Bob's concern is that his project, done in a specific technology, will be obsolete and require him to change it, to redo it, to reinvest more effort and time, of course, in order to keep its project relevant with the times and standards. So to answer this type of concern or to provide some feedback to him is, what if the work that you do, Bob, can span across industry standards? What if you can separate logic and configuration of your personal project for the actual rendering of the project, or how your project will be presented to the world and to your factory? Your work will be done once, and the project will be kept relevant to the times and to those industry standards that we talked about. So separating engineering from actually rendering or presenting your project. So this type of answers got Bob a little bit intrigued. So let's continue with him. Bob seems to have his plant or his process, let's say, already laid out in a different software, some sort of CAD program or whatever. And he's wondering if he can use that or a part of it to not start from scratch, from the so-called empty sheet of paper. And this will be really nice to say if what if we can pre-build a certain point your project, export it from there, or export pre-configured elements of your project, and you just import it and continue from there. You will save some time, and in the end, every little bit of time saved counts. So pre-configuring project, pages, components, or parts. Okay, Bob wants to know if he can modify or change his project. And to that, I say if you may have a big suite of components or elements that you can simply just drag and drop on the surface, arrange, configure, and simply and easily use the mouse and keyboard like everyone is used to. That would be really good. So a simple drag and drop elements, cut, copy, paste with ease approach will be ideal. Okay, Bob has a relevant concern now. His programming skills is limited. How he can manage a complex project in this context, because we all know that when we try to do a relevant project in this type of context in digitalization, we encounter some programming. So to Bob, I say, don't worry. No programming language is required. You just use drag and drop as in any visual tool, using your mouse and keyboard with no programming needed. A so-called low-code platform will be ideal, of course. Okay, Bob seems to be okay with that, so we'll move on. Bob points out that usually there is a difference in how the project actually looks when it is designed and when it is running in production environment. Also, you'll be required a second testing environment, of course, with similar data and data flows in order to assure that your engineering or your configuration, specific configuration, is correctly done before pushing it to the actual production environment. So it will. What if the elements that you drag and drop on the surface will be the actual project itself, exactly as what you see is what you get type of program should be doing. The project is configured in the cloud, is a public web environment, can be made private as well. But the data that you feed to each component when you in the process of configuring your project is simulated. The simulation can be changed in order to safely engineer the entire project without touching real data. This way you can deploy it with confidence that everything that you require from this project is done and is done correctly. So the same components with simulated values, and you get to fully engineer a project before deploying. Now Bob has a concern about having a big project, multiple pages, multiple machines of the same type. Configuring each machine is very time consuming, of course, and it's a monotonous project or process. A solution to that will be a cut, copy, paste, single components, or even the entire page, or use a common tool like a notepad to find, replace, modify your configuration, and then paste it back into your project. That would be really nice to have. Also, page can be made parameterized, configurable, that when it's running, you can just pass some parameters to it and you will actually get a real page from it. So a copy entire pages, parameterize pages and components, and use external tools will be a good idea. So Baum now says that he's not the only person that will work on this project. He has an entire team, of course, of engineers that will work on the same project. This is normal in a bigger project scenario. So what if you can just share your project among the entire team. Multiple people can work on the same project at a given time and choose to export or import, export and import the project at will. So sharing the entire project again, across teams and exporting and importing projects, of course, with ease. Because Bob has a different project needs, from controlling and monitoring to analyzing and optimizing processes, he wants to work on all types of projects, but normally this requires the usage of different tools, the different work modes for each. To this I say that it would be nice if you could use the same tool to create both kinds of projects or all kinds of projects, having the same workflow, the same methodology of working, the same UX that you are used to, and just deploying to different targets or deploying into different project needs. So create once, deploy on multiple platforms, same tool, same work mode. So we discussed with the help of Bob about some of the concerns that a user in the digitalization world might have. We also talked about some hypothetical solutions that are summarized in the words that you see on the slide. So now let's jump back into the real world and talk about something that is practical and available now. So through the hard work of my team and colleagues, a practical solution was born with the scope of being a solution to these and a lot more concerns that a user like Bob has in this world. Oh, and of course it is live now, so I will quickly give you a glimpse of it and invite you to check out in more detail.
Thank you, Ionuț.
Just 1 second and you can see it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We need to stay in time, so Alex from Continental Sibiu will start his presentation on the AGVs and importance in the factory.
One question. Can we maybe change the order? I'm parallel joining an important management meeting, and as we're 10 minutes late, I'm running into deep trouble.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if you want, Mark, then of course you can start. We can change the order without any problem.
Thank you for your understanding.
Sound quality.
Okay, I come closer. Is it better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so let's tell me when you can see something. Guess should have a second. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Mark Hollander. I'm Senior Product Owner with RegTech, belonging to Bearing Point. You may know Bearing Point as a consulting company. What we are doing here, George and me, is software business. We are building software for regulatory reporting, being market lead in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, and heading for European market leadership. Our products are there to support the authorities and banks and insurances for a stable financial market. We have a little organizational change in the last weeks. So our business is now owned by a private capital company, Nordic Capital, which allows us to grow in our software business. This in a nutshell. What we are doing here is, from a technical perspective, building innovative products to allow to figure out the risk, for example, liquidity risk, credit risk, or the own funds quote of banks or capital market players, and to report it to the regulators, which could be the European Central Bank or the national central banks. To do so, this is a very data-intensive business, and we are running our software having a database underneath. We code in Java and SQL using all the classical development tools in these directions, and have a browser-based GUI on top. So as we're here in an event with Hasso-Plattner Institute, my job is long-time cooperation with SAP and another founder of SAP, Mr. Kagerman. SAP put a new database, or more than a database, on the market. This is called SAP Hana, memory database. And this is not only a database, this is also a processing framework. And what's of interest is that we started alliance with SAP to bring our products in this HANA environments. And the question here is, why are we doing this? We are doing this to gain speed of our programs and also to store data efficiently with our software. So with our development team in Sibiu, we've got more than 100 people working for us, growing, also having offices in Temeshwara and Bucharest, and building really innovative software with small teams. And if you look here, we are running two modern architectures for our products. One is based on Oracle and Spark, and our alternative new platform is HANA. And what we could see here, having a HANA in memory database in place and not transporting our code and executing our code on Spark nodes, just pushing the code down to the data, which is also a concept which is run by Google and others. Here we can save more than 80% of our processing time of the software, and this is a big deal for our clients, because imagine if you have a big finance trust in Europe, they have millions of clients, millions of deals a day, and 100 millions of cash flow a day. And to process this all efficiently, you have to have good parallel working software and good architects in place. And that's what's really fun working with us, that we have the room and space in our teams to discuss new ideas of finding technical solutions for our clients, to develop them together with functional and technical experts, and use modern technology like Spark or SAP HANA technology. And here you see a good benchmark that the usage of HANA technology by SAP enables us to be much faster. And this is a very cool thing. If we look now at the storage footprint of our processing, you see here the light blue column, which is a compressed Oracle database. And if we put the data of one bank for input and processing on the HANA database, we see a compression rate which is bigger than 80%. And this is nice for running the system, and also very nice for the business model, because you should know that the HANA license fee for our clients is paid by the amount of data, and getting to such compressions you get really steps ahead and you can save a lot of money. And with HANA, you have also the chance that HANA has the data in memory and organizes the physical storage itself. So finds data which is same for 2 business days or which belongs to the same town or group and groups the data in the right way that if you're having a data history, the data is not growing linear like with the green line represented expected, it stays underneath, and that's a very cool business model, also using very modern technology. So, the story in a nutshell is here. We are quite innovative using Spark, HANA, and other technologies. We can create additional value for our clients. Therefore, can also give our people interesting project work and chance to grow in knowledge and technology. And this all together, we are transforming in a service company. So at the moment, core business is building innovative software for the financial market. And in future, we want to turn this software into cloud and only deliver our client service for regulatory reporting. And that's the thing where I'm very proud of doing this for many years together with people from Romania, especially Sibiu. And it's really a success story of cooperation with companies like SAP and people from Sibiu and us bringing products and growth in the market. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mark. Mark, maybe you can answer the questions in the chat before leaving a bit early. Okay.
So why are we sitting in different platforms? So the thing is we have different clients. That's one reason. So smaller clients may not go for HANA, and also regarding if you're only one platform in place, SAP and Oracle could ask for higher license fees because they're dependent on it, and there are different scenarios, so that approach has clear advantages. For example, in the financial markets, there are people having all the data on a HANA system. It's very nice if you not bring in your own technology stack as company. If you just bring in your app and can run it, this is a real value for our clients. What are the key factors for performance or efficient storage? Answered. Key factor for performance is to skip data transport between different parts of the applications and also to have all data in memory. Efficient storage is something where HANA and SAP took care for, that you have just the logical data model which you're using, and the physical storage is organized by HANA technology using artificial intelligence, looking for same patterns and so, and coming to the good compression rate. So, how's it? The first question, I think, was not in my direction, no? Alexandru, Alex?
No.
Okay.
No, it was Sebastian. Thank you very much. Let's do Alex's presentation. Alex, maybe you can help us catch a bit the time. Thank you. Alex, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, better. Yes.
No. Right. So can you see my screen?
Not yet. You are sharing a different monitor, probably. Loading.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'll try to make this as short as possible in order to catch up some time. So my name is Alex. I work for Continental Automotive System in Sibiu, and today we're going to talk about robots and AGVs. So first, some of our colleagues talked about Industry 4.0, and you can see here Industry 4.0 represented as a whole, as a thing, and all small sprockets like 3D printing, advanced robotics, big data, and stuff like this are all involved and interconnected in order to support this Industry 4.0. And of course, COVID-19 is not amongst it, although I think it should be because we seem to talk about it a lot. But anyways, we're going to talk about the advanced robotics today. So one of the robots that are in this category is the collaborative robot. So I think many of you heard, or if you didn't heard, we have these collaborative robots, and they're called collaborative because they tend to work together with the humans. And basically they're collaborative because of this speed and force setting or parameter that they seem to be in. So basically their speed is pretty low and the force that they use is lower than on an industrial robot. But of course, being a robot, we need to have regulations, and unfortunately these robots were so new on the market that we didn't have any documentation. So we have the machinery directive, that this is basically the Bible of building machines, and then we have the ISO TS 15066, which basically didn't include much. It only had one page with about 3 things mentioned until 2016, so we didn't have much to go by. But then in 2016 it was updated. We still had one page of requirements, but then we had about 30 pages of recommendations. So amongst those are all the other standards for safety issues and protection, and I'm sure you can find them online. This is a small comparison between the normal industrial robot and the collaborative robot. So this collaborative robot's basically what's new and innovative for them. It's the way you think of a robot. So what was new when iPhone came out? It only had one button, and it was easy to use. So it's the same principle applies also for these robots. So basically they have a teach pendant that's very user-friendly. So the programming is very, very easy. Even a 5-year-old can do it and can program and can search online on YouTube, and you will see a lot of kids playing with these robots. And basically this is one of the main advantages over the classic industrial robots. Then, of course, the way you replace them. So it's pretty easy to replace it. It takes about 1 hour to replace this kind of robot, whereas an industrial one, you need a whole day to do it. And of course, the costs are very low compared to a normal industrial robot. Now, AGVs are considered as robots as well. So basically what AGVs are, so we had autonomous moving robots before, but these robots usually were programmed with a dedicated path before, and or had to go on a magnetic strip or on a fixed rail or something to go from point A to point B. Now what AGVs bring new to the market is the fact that they can they're autonomous guided vehicles. So basically, if you put an obstacle in front of them, they will calculate and move around this obstacle to navigate from point 1 to point 2. Of course, they have a lot of sensors and a lot of safety devices in order not to bump into people and objects. And you can modify these small vehicles in order to take products from one line to another, or from the warehouse raw material to the lines and stuff like that. These are a few branch names that accommodate the robots and AGV. So we see a lot of robots on the market, but the first collaborative robots that came to the market was actually universal robots. And then all the other players saw that this is a thing and designed their own robots. Okay, and now for a video, I'm actually gonna show you from the, I don't know if can you see it? So this is working in a factory alongside human prepare the part, then the robot comes and screws in a few screws. And of course, this is a direct human interaction, so there's a collaborative way here. Okay. So basically, these are the collaborative robots and the AGVs. Hope it was short enough to recover the time lost. Oh, okay, I have one more. I have a calculation, a small calculation for return of investment. This might be interesting for some of you. So basically, we have two scenarios where we have just the collaborative robot, as we saw in the movie, working amongst the operator, where you don't have that much cost, only the robot itself that costs about 30K. And then you have the cost of the operator that usually is about 12K per operator. If you work in 4 shifts, this comes to 48K per year. So basically, if you use a collaborative robot instead of a human, then you save, you get your return of investment in about 7.5 to 8 months. Then you have the other scenario where you also have this collaborative robot, but then you also want to include safety elements, and you want to use this robot as an industrial robot, so faster speed, faster forces, in order to have a better cycle time. Also, maybe you have to modify the equipments a little bit, so you need some to do a small investment in the equipments themselves. Then you got about 70K approximately for this integration. Again, the operator costs are the same, taking us to the return of investment in 1.5 to 2 years. So basically, a good integration of the robot is one that gets your money back in before 2 years. So everything that goes past this 2 years point doesn't make sense to use a robot. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Let's go to Tash regarding software solution. This time from Romania.
Yes. I'm sharing my view. See it?
It's working perfectly.
So, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm really pleased to be joining the workshop today at the Sibiu Innovation Days. On one side, because it's really great to reconnect with Lucian Blaga University, where I am an alumni, and it's also great that you, Ionut, we were actually ex-colleagues back in the computer science course. But on the other side, I think it's really important for the local market to have as much collaboration between the local companies and to share knowledge between us. To introduce myself, I'm George Bontaș. I'm the country leader for RegTech Bearing Point. As you heard from Mark, we are a software company, actually a spin-off from the Bearing Point Consulting Group. I am with RegTech since 2010, and since then I spend a lot of time, especially abroad, supporting different banks to introduce our software into the bank's environment. And for that, I used to work with very diverse teams, with team members from USA, UK, Germany, Romania, India, and China. But late 2018, I took the role to lead the software company from Romania towards success. And since beginning of 2020, I fully stabilized myself again back in Sibiu, together with my wife, of course. But now let's get to the most important topic. It's relating to the regulatory reporting and how its evolution came in the past. So what is regulatory reporting? I'll tell you a story. So we have different people that have different needs. Think of buying a new house or buying a new car, or you're employed in a company and you identify an interesting business for the future, but you don't have enough capital. Here is in general a financial institution coming into place to support you. So what you do, you sign a contract with the financial institution to get the money and support for what you require. But the financial institution itself is not allowed to work itself and to do whatever business it wants. So here the regulators also come into place, mainly the central banks that are in each country. In Romania we have Banca Națională a României. But also the national banks are sometimes not themselves in the work, because we have in Europe, for example, the ECB, European Central Bank, or the EBA, that also are governing the European Union's financial stability of the markets. So what is the regulator doing is asking actually the financial institutions to provide several reports with different risk indicators that are derived from their business. As my colleague Mark was explaining beforehand, so different information regarding the liquidity, their exposure to different groups or people or firms, in order to make sure that in case an issue occurs into one place, the bank will not go into insolvency or bankrupt, and then the whole world might even suffer, as it was in 2008. But what do the regulators do? They will look at the information that they receive from each financial institution and tell the banks, okay, your indicators are fine, or you're having some breaches in some cases. And for that, they even say, okay, you had so many breaches in the past, now I'm going to give you a fine to correct them. And if you don't correct them in time, they even might take the banking license out of the financial institution. But with time, of course, these reports are not anymore done by hand. So things changed. We introduced the IT system, so data is now digitalized in databases, and the transmission of the financial institutions towards regulators were started to be done on different disks and emails. And today, of course, we introduced the internet. We have internet as a possibility to deliver more data to the regulators, so the regulators can analyze, identify further risks, trends in the financial market, and add more legislation, because in the end that's all about it, to have a proper governance in place. So we have the needs of the private and business sorted out by the financial institutions, but we need also to have a risk assessment around the whole situation. And in this context, what Mark was explaining, mainly we have solutions to support the financial institutions to produce the reporting requirements towards the regulator. So from a very granular data to be able to produce the indicators, but on the other side, also for regulators to consume the data that is given by the financial institutions, and to be able, from this big data pool, also to further go into drill downs. But we identified also an issue in this whole system, because each financial institution does itself their reporting requirements, and the regulator itself many times receives a report, and then they need to do further ad hoc requests for different drill downs or do audits in order to identify further where are the risks, where are the potential risks, and especially as it was now also with COVID-19, automatically ECB introduced a new reporting requirement called COVID-19 reporting. We do work a lot with the regulators. We have here, actually, Banca Națională a României is using our tool to collect the data from the market. On the other side, we have very big institutions that we work with, starting with BCR, Raiffeisen, International, Erste Group, Commerzbank, Rabobank, but also a lot of fintechs, if we go to PayPal and Revolut, which are using our software to be able to be compliant with the reporting requirements. So our vision is that we should use the full power of today's technology, and for that we want to introduce an input data dictionary so that the banks do not think all the time in terms of reports. So if you think Excel-like or a real report on paper, to think more, let's give granular data accessibility towards the authorities so that they can identify themselves the issues. And our proposal goes in the direction that the financial institutions need to take all their information that they store in the core banking systems in different sources, where they digitalized all the contractual information that they have related to their business, and from there to have a normalized way of having data lakes with all the information in a very common global data dictionary. From there, of course, different reporting providers can support to have a factory effect, so to replicate the calculation of the indicators and push them towards the central banks. In this context, the central banks, they will receive still the format of a report itself. But our idea is, why don't we have all this data available in an API format for the regulators themselves, so that the central bank does not only receive the data in the calculated format from the banks, but actually to have the possibility to pool the data themselves, and further to have different engines of calculation, identify the risk. They can even have the granular information where they require to identify further trends. And for this, we already have created a prototype. We are in discussion with the Finansinspektion from Sweden to implement this with very interesting technology or latest technology, Kubernetes, Spark, Camunda, and others, to be able to have this possibility for the future. And moreover, we are even going more aggressively in this direction, because we think this is the way the future of reporting should look like, or actually in the end, not only reporting, but the future of the financial system governance looks like, because then the banks can all the time use our so-called reg ops. We go to the regulatory operations direction as the DevOps are created and other operations ideas, to be able to have a full transparency of the financial market. In this context, we believe that we even might reach the direction where there will not be any more a financial crisis, because the regulators will have their powerful engines with artificial intelligence to identify trends in the data and really be able to identify a crisis just before it happens. And if we go to the final part, we can even log to this distributed ledger technology. We even tested it with the blockchains to make sure that there are no issues also coming from that side, in case the blockchains are really picking up with the cryptocurrency. With this, thank you so much, and I'm listening for questions from your side.
Okay. We'll answer the questions after. Let's go quickly to Hana to hear the Commission presentation.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. Can hear me? It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Good. So I'll just share my screen. Okay. Hope you see it?
Loading.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So many thanks for the invitation. First of all, it's really nice to be joining these discussions, and it was particularly interesting to listen to all the speakers that provided really their technical insights into Industry 4.0. And I mean, we heard that technologies such as the cloud have become so important these days, right? And that actually, you know, COVID ended up being a kind of digital accelerator, both for individuals and for firms. It's true that in all crises there are opportunities, and definitely for the ICT and the digital intensive sectors, I think there are many new windows of opportunities and from this crisis that is affecting us all. But so I come here today to talk to you a bit, so in a rather macro perspective on what the European Commission, and notably from the side of research and innovation, is trying to do in order for us to thrive in the next decade, also in digital terms. Because I think I don't need to convince you, because you you are actually the experts on the ground on this. But the truth is that, and also relative to other major economies worldwide, and relative to how we want to position the EU in the future, right? That we want to lead, we want to make this Europe's digital decade. So first of all, from a policy perspective, we need more both public and private investments in things such as communication networks, so the 5G part, quantum, cloud, that was so spoken already, but also in other sessions that you had yesterday on AI. We need digital green technologies, we need investments in cybersecurity, and so on. So there's this study from DG Connect, so the DG that takes care of the digital portfolio of the Commission, and they found that Europe needs around 125 billion of investment per year to, if we really want to take serious delivering the digital transformation. So this is really key, and this is not just on the public side, I want to repeat, but also on the private. But this is the only way that we can really, you know, take seriously the statement that we want to have Europe leading in terms of digital companies and digital technologies in the future, because in many of these sectors we lag behind. And so you've heard, I think, also yesterday that Europe's recovery plan, so this next generation EU, it's actually agreed that 20% of this money is going to boost the digital capacities of Europe, being in terms of skills, high-speed connectivity, but also AI, and AI that is trustworthy and human-centric, and then also in terms of supercomputers, data spaces in health, and so on. But what I would like to talk to you a bit more about is also how research and innovation, since it's the portfolio that I follow, fits in all of this, and especially in the context of the current crisis. So the way we see the role of research and innovation is really now at the short-term level in terms of addressing the COVID-19 pandemic, and to provide being research in terms of to have a new vaccine, right? So in the health spectrum, but being also in terms of creating the technologies that then will allow us to also lead in this green recovery and sustainable recovery. So yes, we have short term that we have health challenges, but then we also have all these long-term challenges that we call mega trends, such as aging and demographics that of the population. So we know that aging is a key issue in the future, and that robots and others will be are increasingly important in that sense. but there's also growing inequalities. So income inequalities, regional inequalities, investment inequalities, and so on. Even within Europe, there are big investment inequalities. So what do we need? We have mobilized a lot of digital technologies for the COVID-19 pandemic, and you know them better than I do, but just to mention a few, the 3D printing for medical protection equipment, but also this UV light robots that are basically cleaning hospitals from, and to make sure that the virus is removed from hospitals, but also a lot of image scanning that has been used, and AI and digital technologies to of course to monitor and track the speed of the virus. So digital technologies have been crucial in the pandemic fight. Going forward, we need to have an approach where whatever we do, whatever new innovations that we'll have, should embed not only the economic perspective, which of course is important, but they should also have social and environmental value. And I think you see more and more that consumers are at the center of these new innovations, that they are also pushing for this change. And so companies will eventually also adapt. But we need new foresight capabilities to be able to anticipate and prepare for the future. And we need this, yes, tech with a purpose, as I was mentioning, and also green ICT, which will be my last point. If I start to go over time, please let me know. Okay, the moderator, you have a free pass to let me know. As we've heard, and we have here some results for the UK, that companies have said that between March and July 2020, they've actually increased the adoption of new digital technologies, capabilities, management practices, and have introduced new product and services innovations. So this was a bit of a catalyzer for faster uptake, and this is an interesting trend. However, what we also know is that there may be a widening of these inequalities, because there is, across the different countries, certain technologies have not been adopted to the same level. So there's differences in the uptake and diffusion of technologies such as the cloud, such as big data analytics, customer relationship management technologies, and so on. And what is more, I don't have here the graph, but if you go at the firm level, so if you compare the small firm with the medium firm and the large firm, even if you would expect that, of course, the large firms have a higher adoption of these technologies because they have the capacity, right, to acquire them and to implement them, you see that the gap in some countries is huge. So smaller and medium-sized firms are not so much doing this uptake. So you may see that, yes, COVID-19 was a digital accelerator, but maybe not for all. And those that didn't manage to make that digital leap, digital jump, they may be having severe problems in the future to keep up, especially if we have a third wave, and if the second wave also continues much longer. So just now, very briefly, I won't take much time on this, but just some trends on what is really new here. Really, the speed of adoption and of innovation is unprecedented, right? So while before we really, with physical innovations like the landline telephone, the uptake and the adoption took much longer. We see that, for instance, for Skype to reach 100 million users was only 2 years and 8 months, and with all these digital like social media and consumer-driven innovations, it can be really fast, the adoption. The smartphone was a true game changer here. So in 2007, it really introduced this so-called digital consumer, right? So it quickly made obsolete a set of independent items that before we had to pay for. And now we don't have to pay to access a camera, to access a calculator, a game machine, a recorder, and so on. So many of these items and products now became obsolete because a new product really replaced them. And the last trend, before I go to the final slide, is really that this deep tech wave is taking over. And we've also already heard about it this morning, and it's the link with Industry 4.0, that you have the digital and the physical worlds increasingly merging. And what this means is that this is not a simple innovation, and it may also take time to be market ready and to be commercially viable. So also from the public policy perspective, this also means that we need to have patient capital funds, because sometimes private capital is a bit more impatient and they will want to see the returns right away. And so maybe there's some room for the public sector to fill in this gap, because some of these innovations may make time to materialize, but they may be truly disruptive for the sector. And finally, so just to say that as we see it, research innovation has a key opportunity here to make the ICT sector green. And why is this? Because while digital technologies can really lead to the smartification of our economies, right, and really bring efficiency gains and improve productivity, and we can have smart power grids, smart mobility solutions, and so on. The truth is that, for instance, training deep learning algorithms can be really computationally intensive. And so this brings a lot of pressure to data centers and also to telecom infrastructure. So what we really need, and I would also invite all of the viewers that I know that they work in these technical solutions, is really to try to now bring in energy efficient cloud computing, and so that we optimize consumption in these data centers, because the demand for electricity may rise because we're going more and more digital as well. And so we would like to have a green and digital world that is compatible. And so that's perhaps my last message. And sorry if I went over time. And many thanks.
Okay, we thank you, Hana. We have only 5 minutes left for questions and answers, so let's be quick about it. If you have questions, let's address them.
So I see there are some questions in chat, so maybe we can start with those, or
yes, Alex, you have a question. Mark answered.
okay.
It was quite a question from me, as in you chat about collaborative cobots, and my question is now, what is the legislation saying regarding the usage of collaboration mode in these robots?
So yes, for a good question, because from the legislation point of view, yes, it is allowed to use them in a collaborative way, but there's so many risk assessments and things that you need to prove that in case of an accident, then you really have to be prepared in order to say that the installation was properly done. So this is why we're not using the collaborative robots in a collaborative, basically make a smart laser fencing system around them. So then when you approach them, the speed will go down, and when you are in the critical area, they will completely shut down. But as Anna showed us, we do have these AGVs that run among us, and they're still robots, and they're collaborative robots as well, and they help us disinfect hospitals and bring food to the patients or medicine to those that are isolated and we cannot go and physically interact with them. So I think we will see these robots more and more interact with the humans in the future.
Thank you, Alex. Any questions?
I have a question, if it is possible, but maybe for Georgia a little bit. What constraints there are in order to use the digitalization of services in the administration? Because, you know, at least from public sector, in order to make an acquisition, something take a lot of time. And what are the solutions or the constraints that you face in apply your solution.
Most generator that is actually that the regulators, so the authorities come with the proper requirements in place to say we need to focus and we need to have transparency. Of course, there will be a lot of fight back because not everybody wants the transparency for the international market. They say, okay, this is my data, why should I put it for the authorities into place? This is one of the biggest challenges, and also the legislation behind it. In many times it takes a lot of time to really complete a full end-to-end cycle. So you start with good ideas like we had at the moment with the reg operations, story operations. But in order to really implement it, you need more players. So in general, the whole market needs also to do a handshake, to say, yes, we agree to this standard and we will comply to this standard. Meaning being here, if we look on the public services, we can even say the mayors and all the institutions of the local market, they will say, okay, we agree with this granular data model, we agree with sharing the information between us, which are the governance models in the background, and so on and so forth. So it's quite complex from this perspective, but many times legislations helps us to push it faster.
Thank you, Georgia. I think if time, the other panel should start. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
Thank you very much, and hopefully next time will be in person, the meeting here.
It will be great.
Indeed, that's very...
Thank you very much.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Okay, but please do not leave. We have a last interesting it also will affect our future, in my opinion, and it is about autonomous driving and challenges in automotive. I welcome the moderator of the panel, Radu Ivanuș from Entity Data. I welcome also Mr. Sibiu from Milicon, and also other alumni from Sibiu University, and also as Radu from Education.
Hello.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you.
I will Radu present two charge this last section.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having this chance to moderate this panel. Hopefully you still have some patience in order to be able to what we prepare today. It is a pleasure to hear a lot of former professors at university, former colleagues and current colleagues that I meet during the years, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys. And for sure, I think we will try to give you a lot of nice informations during this, let's say, during this session and meeting. 1 second to prepare it. Please let me know when you see it. Can you see it, everyone?
We can see your Explorer.
Explorer. Sorry, 1 second.
I don't know exactly.
Sorry. Sorry for this technical problems in the end. I was already prepared myself with Adrian, and it seems that Houston, we have a problem.
It's okay. Also yesterday, even we some tests, but we have it to be the.
Yeah, but, hopefully not least, yes.
The same importance I consider also this this panel. The order was now we can see your
Yeah, then we have the panel 9 regarding autonomous driving and challenges in automotive. Already it was presented by Mr. Florea. We have 3 topics and 3 guests. One of them is myself regarding nice topic, does artificial intelligence and safety in automotive environment influence a fearless driving or not? Here I will try to explain a raw overview of the autonomous driving and how this influences our behavior. And of course, later on, we will enter in more details with my 2 technical colleagues, Ovidiu Chicea, which is team leader in Continental Automotive System on ADAS business unit, Advanced Driver System. He will talk about emergency braking system and blind spot detection functionalities. These are really details regarding the bricks of autonomous driving. And last but not least, GQ Benkia, director and owner of Millicon SRL, which he will also give about an overview about autonomous driving and challenges. Last but not least, hopefully we will have also the time to stay with us for the announcement of the hackathon contest. It will be after this panel, and we will conclude the sessions. Thank you.
Before we start, Rad, only to one word. The position of the panels was due to the time constraint of some guests from European Union or from other countries, and I need to fit it in the schedule. And also it was shorter because we'll start research night event, which is at European level. So it's not a problem that is the last, it's the same.
Yeah, no problem. But, also, to add something on your statement, I think it's very important this because we had some nice topics regarding Industry 4.0 and many others that are related also to this topic, because I think in the end, the future will need to bring all these things together. Then I think in the end, the order was good. Then I will start my presentation in order to give you a short overview about my role and what is about Entity Data Romania. You already also met with some of our colleagues and on different topics. Currently within Entity Data, I'm having the responsible of embedded business line manager. This is a role that is mainly responsible for the growing of the business and maintaining within our company. We are split it in different domains, and embedded automotive is one of these, and I'm responsible, and this means that everything which is related to automotive discussion with potential clients, maintaining the actual clients, delivery towards the clients, escalation are handled by me and my team. Within the company, we are now currently almost 2,000 employees. We are having spreading over all the main location in Romania and also Novi Sad. When we are discussing about Entity Data Romania, we discuss also about Novi Sad branch. And of course, we are having presence on all university centers, big university centers with the headquarters in Cluj-Napoca. Our team consists in almost 450 engineers. Mainly, the majority are embedded developers. We have also almost 100 guys that we call them tools. These guys are develop different tools used by our automotive customers. And last but not least, we have 11 colleagues on R&D, which mean that are thinking on ideas and proof of concept that can be implemented by our clients and in automotive space. Our distribution is almost half between testing and development services. Of course, we have presence in different domains. The car, we are having presence in the mostly important fields from autonomous driving, radar, lidar, vision, multi-camera, and many others. As you already pointed out, we will share this presentation with you guys, and we will wait any question later on. But I will want to let also to have some time for my colleagues, which will give you in the end a lot of important and technical aspects regarding autonomous driving. Of course, where we are going, the autonomous car will or the future car will be to have autonomous. We know that we are having 5 levels of autonomy. Jiku will also describe you more what these levels will represent. I will start only level 0, where you do not have any influence from the car. The driver has the full control of the car, and the maximum level, which is expected from the future cars, it will be level 5, full self-driving. This means that the vehicle can control everything from the car. In the end, even that you do not have a wheel steer and anything. You just need to sit and let the car to do the magic. Of course, this can be done only if it will be connected, more or less electric. Artificial intelligence should be present. Of course, the car should be very safety, and we are talking about safety and security already from now. And last but not least, we will see also a boom on infotainment and sharing. Infotainment from the point of that, if you have a car that will drive you, you need to somehow to have your time occupied. This means maybe watching on TVs, on different environments, playing, etc. Then infotainment, it will be also something that we will see that it will rise very fast. And of course, sharing, last but not least, this means a lot of car sharing. And it is already debating if in the end, when the full autonomous car will be available, we will have it in a sharing mode or we will have our own cars. I wanted to make also a short evolution, even to start from funny with the Flintstone car and then to end with maybe some the future flying cars. Why I wanted to put this slide is to see that we are talking about a lot of electric cars, hybrid electric car. Already we had it electric cars starting from 1912 with the Becker car. Already the Deutsche Post car, they were having a lot of electric cars in 1953, which make a jump on the Knight Rider, which was a movie where in the end already in 1942 we were discussing about a possible car that is talking with us, giving directions and helping us in different activities. Now I jump in 83 where we have our classical Dacia. It was not so smart as like the Knight Rider, but we were loving it, and even myself, I was very happy when I received from my parents their old Dacia. And then I will jump from the nice cars, Audi 8 and Tesla, which was driving some of the levels, and at least the level 2 of autonomous or autonomy, it's already present in this car. Google autonomous car, and of course, this is a nice question for all of us, when we will see the level 5 autonomy and the future flying cars. Then, in order to step in the smart car, smart environment, of course, there is this picture, but it doesn't bring you too much, but the question is below. Should self-driving vehicle make ethical decisions? It was a question that it was addressed some time ago to the OEMs. Or some of the OEMs. And at that point, it was a scenario where on a bridge, a big truck is coming, you are driving an autonomous car, and some children are jumping in front of the car. What the cars will do? Will kill you in the end, entering in the big truck or jumping out from the bridge, or it will kill the pedestrian. At that point, only one OEM responded because it was very demandable question and a lot of things behind. Only one OEM respond, we protect our passengers, and it was very debatable. Now I will say we do not need to answer to this question because the step in for autonomous driving is a smart environment. Already we saw towards some of my colleagues that previously give presentations about smart cities, smart environments, smart highway, step by step. And here we have some use cases where already we are involved from the point of the entity group, now not only entity data, where we have some example where we influence with artificial intelligence and the behavior and the prediction of the cars. And there is this use case, I will not read the data, but I will give you some raw description. It is that the car needs to be able to predict some strange behaviors, and not only. and communicate with the rest of the environment, the rest of the car. Why? For example, there is a use case also where some children are getting out from a house. Of course, they will be seen by a smart camera, and and not only, and some smart cars, and their unused behavior, it is predicted. And all the other participants are announced that these children could arrive in some cases on the trajectory of a car. And this will make more or less much more secure, and the accuracy of detection will be over 95% to predict some of the accidents, and not only. Because in the end, everything will be on the safetyness of the car, and this cannot be done without artificial intelligence. There are a lot of use cases that are already implemented and in place. Since my time is almost passing, I will have a conclusion regarding and an input regarding the smart city. In my opinion, the fully autonomous car will not be able to be driving without a smart environment. Already, as entity group, we are part of the first smart city digitalization, which is Las Vegas. Already, we are partner there in order to help the city to be digitalized. Of course, there are a lot of initiatives, and we are there. Here you can see also the small shuttle, which is already driving Las Vegas as self-driving. It has LiDAR, GPS cameras, and in addition, it is capable to interact with the environment and mainly with, for example, with lightnings in order to predict when a lightning will go to green or red. And for sure, I will end this because my time is ending, and I will let my colleagues to continue on with a lot of details of the functionality which are behind this autonomous driving. But I conclude that fearless driving of autonomous car will be possible just in a smart environment. To be honest, without a smart environment, this will not be possible. Thank you. So maybe you can take over the control once.
Thanks, Radu. So you can see my screen. Visible. I'm assuming from being of people that the present is visible. So hello everyone. First of all, my name is Ovidiu Chicham. Radu, thank you very much for the nice introduction. I had the pleasure of working with Radu in the past. We're here to basically talk about, let's say, or touch the subject of autonomous driving and what it holds behind. And for this, I would like to present also the Continental vision and the ADAS vision in Continental about autonomous driving. So basically where we're trying to go with our products and with our systems developed in ADAS. And this vision is basically called Safe and Dynamic Driving Towards Vision Zero. Now, before we can talk about Vision Zero and what this means, first of all, I would like to bring also a short background information about our business. So, as you know, Continental Corporation has many sections, and one of them is the automotive industry. And some more or less important highlights and the timeline in which this business unit has developed over the last few years is quite amazing, if you ask me. So if we're thinking about the Automotive Systems Division, which was established in 1995, while in 2003, ADC GmbH was integrated as a product line called Driver's Assistance Systems under the Continental TEMIC brand. In 2004, Continental managed to acquire the Siemens VDO automotive industry and section and integrate this into their portfolio, thus boosting their market position in countries or regions such as Europe, North America, or Asia. And at the same time, in Sibiu in 2007, this marked the starting point of development and testing for radar products. Moving further along in this timeline of ours, next we have in 2008 the business unit ADAS, which was officially founded as a standalone segment inside the automotive AG group. And also at this point, it was marked the start of an extensive automated driving tests in the US state of Nevada. And by that time, so in 2012, a highly automated Continental test vehicle covered almost 15,000 miles at that point on public roads without any accidents. As a parallel, in Sibiu, the next generation of radar products were taken over from Siemens VDO, and then development really kickstarted. In 2016, the product stability, sales, and satisfaction for the most sold sensor was reached. And in 2017, Continental built also a similar test vehicle. It's called CUBE. It stands for Continental Urban Mobility Experience. This vehicle is currently being tested and trailed in Frankfurt, and basically it's more or less the same thing like let's say a call-on car. So you have an app, you call the vehicle, it comes, it takes you wherever you need to go. So it's really cool. Coming back to this safe Vision Zero, basically what it means is 0 accidents, 0 fatalities, and 0 injuries. So this is basically what the Vision Zero stands for. And in order to understand this end goal, we have to think about how we want to achieve this goal. A smart vehicle, an autonomous vehicle, should be in many ways similar to us as a human. So this means that a vehicle of this capacity should be able to basically understand its environment, understand the conditions where it is. So it must sense. It must be able to take decisions, so to evaluate, extrapolate, and analyze data. We could say it should be able to plan, and also it should be able to take action or to generate an output or a reaction. So we can say that it should be able to act. So in short, we're trying to reach this Vision Zero by using these 3 components or 3 main pillars: sense, plan, and act. And I'll get to them in a moment. If we're talking about our business units portfolio, again, we have to think about the technologies that were being used and what we can use in order to do these things and to reach this goal. And for this, we use all sorts of technologies, such as smart cameras or surround view cameras. We use radar technology, so long range and short range radars, and we also use high resolution 3D flash LiDARs. This covers basically the sensing part, but we also need a processing unit, and for this we have an ADCU, or Assisted or Automated Driving Control Unit, which is a powerhouse of computing algorithms that basically allows the integration of all this information in one place. When we look in the business trend and we look at what the OEMs are doing right now, we can see that this has been always a constant trend in which high-end and premium vehicles first get this technology, this kind of technology, they integrate it, and then this technology slowly transfers to mid-size cars and then in the end to compact cars. Now this has happened already before time and time again. We saw it with automated control TCU, so transmission control units. We saw this with engine control units. We saw this even with the ABS. So as you know, the ABS didn't become a standard until I think 2003 or 2004. So before that, you could get a car with an ABS option. After 2004, you could get the car that had a standard setting of ABS. So we're seeing basically more or less the same trend in the technology that we develop and use. When we talk about automated driving and what ADAS does for automated driving, we have to understand what this actually means in terms of the degree of automation or SAE level, and we have to think about responsibility. So if the SAE level is lower, this would mean that the automation is lower, and in return, the responsibility is more oriented towards the human. If we think about higher automation levels or higher SAE levels, then we have to think about the responsibility being, of course, in the machine. Level 0, as Arado already mentioned, means no automation. So basically, you have full human responsibility, while level 5 would mean a full automation. So this means that the vehicle is completely self-driving. And for each of these levels and for each of these, let's say, automation levels, we can think about certain situations and what functions, for example, make sense. We can also think about the possibility that, let's say, and at the level 1 SAE level, we're talking about limited steering or braking capability, and then moving to steering and braking like a partial automation. Then the driver hands-off would be, let's say, a conditional automation. Driver mind-off would be a high automation, and driverless, of course, being the end goal of full automation. Going back to those 3 pillars that I mentioned before, Sense, Plan, Act, we have to think about all the technologies that are being currently used. So as I said before, we use for sensing technology 3 types of technologies: LiDARs, radars, and cameras. And I would like to talk a bit about these technologies and what functions or what systems we develop using these technologies. So if we're thinking about camera technology, we can think, for example, about a functionality called TSA, or Traffic Sign Assist. And basically what this functionality does is it's just using the cameras to identify traffic signs. As you know, in most regions, the traffic signs are quite similar, so you need a complex algorithm to be able to extrapolate the visual imagery and translate this into an actual traffic sign. Also, keep this information in background. So, for example, if you have a speed limitation for a certain region of the road, and then that speed limitation is switched back to off, the driver still needs to be informed about the last traffic sign that would still be valid for that sector of the road. If we're thinking about radar technology as a sensing technology, we think about in that, so the radar has been existing for ages now. Basically what we do is we integrate all this technology in a vehicle force in the corners of the vehicle, long-range sensor to see. And by technology, integrating it into a vehicle, we're imagery about what's around the vehicle, and also have a big picture about what we can do with this information. If we're thinking about algorithms, we're thinking about planning. So another such functionality using radar technology we could think about is the EBA function, so emergency brake assist, or AAB, or whatever you want to call it. So this functionality basically is optimized to a complete speed range, and it's helpful for avoiding rear end collisions, so avoiding the collision of a vehicle that's in front of you, or avoiding collision with vulnerable road users, or VRUs, such as human pedestrians or bicycle riders or bike riders and so forth. So this functionality actually evaluates, using radar tech, the environment around it, takes the decision if it should react or not, and then we move to the really cool part, which is the act. So the algorithm also takes action. Now you can see this video in which this is from NCAP. NCAP stands for New Car Approval Process. And I would just like to point out that in these videos, in this process, they're using these model targets, such as model cars or model passengers, pedestrians, and bicyclists. They're completely automated and standard standalone constructs. And basically, the vehicle is being tested, and the algorithm is being tested, and the output. So we can see basically in this video that the vehicle is able to identify this target, avoid a collision. We can also see the same here by avoiding a collision for pedestrian, helping also nighttime, so when visibility would be reduced. And here you can see a situation, a comparison situation where the system did the crash even with an obstructed field of view. So basically, all this technology, all this sensing and planning and acting is translated into a real reaction. And the most important point is that this functionality actually takes the decision and the reaction for the driver if the driver has no reaction. So you get a warning, and if you don't react to that warning, then the vehicle will hit the brake. In a nutshell, this would be the idea behind this Vision Zero and this safe and dynamic driving. So basically understanding the environment, being able to run a set of complex algorithms and take fast decisions and safe decisions in order to generate a reaction. So
I think also we better it, but still I think we can, if you have, you can conclude. And then maybe we will let after Jiku finish his presentation, a question and answer, some more discussion, because I think for everyone these are a lot of interesting stuff, and also live streaming from how they are doing the test and all this. And I think it's very, very interesting. Besides seeing only some figures as I did, please. I think. Okay.
Yeah. That's it from my side.
If you want.
Hello. I'm not sure if you can see my desktop now. I think after listening to the first presentations, I'm quite sure that we will repeat somehow the same topics, but I will try to skip the items which has been discussed. And of course, I think the discussion would make more sense at the end to have question and answer session online, and we can discuss a little bit more details. So shortly, agenda, autonomous driving definition, challenges, ADAS technology, Millicron development. I have the same information as Radu presented before. I try to split this definition on different levels. So between level 0 and level 5, level 0 on automation, and what is also important is fallback and monitoring part. So after level 5, the vehicle should take the decision alone, and should all the situations should be covered. And of course, the actuators which are used. So we have steering, accelerating, braking, and the warnings, let's say. I would say currently, couple of cars, couple of OEMs are reaching the level 3 from the equipment, from the sensoric, from the car. And of course, the high automation and full automation is more likely. It's a prototype in some controlled environment. So just to make it quite simple, we have the level 0 car, which is a more utilitarian car to drive in different situations, different conditions. And of course, the level 3, which is a quite new car. And as I was driving in the morning, so this is the up-to-date picture, I just get the warning that the EBA system is not running. I suppose it's because of the ice on the car. And of course, we had some limited functionalities on the lane departure warning, lane keeping system, and so forth. After 10 minutes of driving, all the function come back to life. But of course, just an indication that we have the technology, we have the sensoric, but we still need the driver behind the wheel. So just to put a picture in two different situations. And of course, as a driver, I still see the need that we still have the control. So, okay, so challenges I try to somehow put in the same picture. I will maybe focus on the technology and environment, but of course the key feature we should consider is the safety overall. So technology, environment, legislation, liability assurance. There are some topics which I'm not sure if we still have all the countries, all the legislations synchronized for now. But I think from the today's discussion point of view, we will focus mainly on the technology and the environment, and other topics maybe need just to highlight that need to be clarified in the future to reach the level 4, level 5. So I have been involved in development since 22 years. When the colleagues showed the pictures from ADC, I was in 2003 in ADC as engineer. So I know all the details about the development. I tried to put the technology on the map. On the left side, I put the level 1, level 5, like a maturity level of the technology. And of course, at the end is also the price would play a role. So of course, in the very beginning, the performance of the system was maybe low, but of course, it has been improved in the last 20, 30 years. And the price was quite high. So it's just an indicator. So at the very beginning, of course, the introduction of the technology was done on the premium cars, premium OEMs. And at the end, we are putting the technology also in the mass market and the standard cars. There's an idea about the price between maybe 2,000 at the very beginning and maybe 200 at the end. So of course, it's depending on the system integration, the function we have. But I think from the perspective of the technology, perspective of the price, I think the technology is quite ready for the level 4, level 5. So we see the same information. Of course, the acronyms from the function are different from the different OEMs or different suppliers. Once again, the time axis, levels of the technology. At the very beginning, we had the cruise control, which most of the cars already had in place. We have the ACC functions, which was the very beginning as a limited ACC. Limitation was given also from the field of view of the sensor or the situation. It was more likely between 30 to 180 kph. At some point in time, we had a full ACC where we had a full stop and go. Parking system was at the very beginning, lane departure warning, EBA, emergency brake system. Traffic sign recognition has been also developed in different steps. Traffic sign recognition plus, it just maybe extended to GPS fusion with implementing in USA. I know that it's quite challenging. They don't follow the Vienna Convention, therefore it was quite challenging to introduce this function. Lane keeping system, autopilot, it's more likely a feature which is described by Tesla, but Tesla is more likely to apply the technology which has been developed in the last 20 years. And of course, we are increasing to the level 4, level 5. There are some prototype, there are developments from different OEMs, different suppliers, but it's still now in the controlled environment and at the prototype level. Maybe I'm wrong, but what I know now, most of the cars have level 3 reached, but level 4 and level 5 is still more likely in the development phase. So I tried to make a matrix with different sensor technologies, which has been developed over the time. We put here radar, camera, LiDAR, ultrasound. Ultrasound is more likely, there's the comparison to have beneficial over the price, but it has been developed for the parking system. In the very beginning of the development, radar was the focus. Main reason was that the premium OEMs were developing in that direction, and most of the other OEMs are just copying the technology. Of course, camera has been developed. LiDAR was developed at the very beginning, but at some point in time, because it has influences or it is limited to the rain situation, ice, integration in the vehicle, it has been slowed down a little bit. Of course, now it's further developed, but yeah. I mean, if you're looking at these metrics, of course, if you're developing a system which has to be safe in different weather conditions, it's quite clear which technology will win. Of course, at the end, the price, overall the radar, it has been expensive. At some point in time, you will not see the price difference as long as you entering the industrialization phase of the sensor technologies. And of course, as I mentioned before, maybe the price decreased 10 times in the last 20 years. So, but nevertheless, if you are selling the cars in 10, 20,000 euro price, you need to consider the price at the end as the OEM integrator. Okay, it just coming back to the words. Where are the challenges? Of course, the technology is in place. We need to validate in different countries, different scenarios, in order to validate a function which decides to fully break the system from the 200 kph to 0. Then, of course, there are need for millions of kilometers to test and to validate it. During the testing, you have to consider the infrastructure, which is quite country-specific. For example, the lane caping system is depending on the street marking. Traffic sign recognition is also depending on the different countries. What we should not forget, as also Radu mentioned before, regarding the traffic participants, how do we interact with other traffic participants like pedestrians? How we interact with other traffic cars? I mean, we have level 0, level 2, level 5 cars mixing in the way. So making the assumption that you are a car with level 5 and there's another car with level 0, maybe it's quite difficult to drive. There are some situations where like wild animals or sudden critical changes on the traffic, I think they are still just more likely questions than answers we should consider. What is also important from the safety, we need to have redundant systems. As I said, some of the technologies are limited in some kind of weather situations. And of course, we need a functional safety in place, how the system should react in case that has some malfunctions from the hardware point of view or from the situation. Okay, just an assessment. Okay, level 4, it's currently used within the controlled environment. Level 4 and 5 on the public road, I think from the technology point of view, which reach a level 5, but still need to be integrated in the environment, as Radu before, the colleagues before mentioned, that kind of children on the street or other sudden situations which are not typical, how the system should react. And I think there are such big questions like the legislation. There are some countries which say, okay, I need a brake. The car has to have a mechanical link between the driver and the wheel. So even if we have the driver assistance system, there is still a mechanical link between the wheels and the brake system. And if you are thinking, we were discussing before about shifting the responsibility from the driver to the machine, in case that there is something bad happens, the question comes up and say, who will pay for this damage? And of course, machine maybe cannot pay. So I think there are still open items which has to be discussed not only in the technical level, but also on the environment, on the legislation, countries' laws and regulations, let's say. Okay, what we are doing by Millicron, so we are focusing on the engineering services. Most of the topics were automated validation, reference system, ground truth, and as hoped also the real-time OS. It was an application in the background. What we are doing with automated validation, we are creating the reference system and helping the tier 1, the OEMs, to validate the system in the car. We are doing the fusion, we are doing the LiDAR scanning and so on, and we are creating the test as a test supplier, let's say. Here we have just an example that scanning the 3D high definition 3D LiDAR and putting the cameras, processing and so forth. We are creating 99% validation ground truth. And of course, we are using our car for test setup. On the right side, we have the system. On the left side, we have the real implementation. Here I have a picture with the tunnel from Pitești, and we are able to make a 3D scanning out of it and of course, we are looking also for other businesses like measuring the street in the very high accuracy. And here we have a 3D map of the tunnel over the time. I mean, just are like potential what we can do with the data once we have, and see other business opportunities based on the same data. Okay, if you have any question, maybe we can continue as a question and answer session.
Thank you very much for the nice presentation, and as a video with live information also from your testing. So I think at least I think, and I will start with the question myself towards you guys and you, and then I will let also the other participants. The car with the ice, and of course the weather, it has a lot of influence on the smart, I mean on the cameras, radars, whatever they are there. How can we do, let's say, level 4 and 5 without some maintenance of the cars? Or how do you see this future based on really this picture, which is live with the snow and all this? Because the car, you mentioned.
Of course, it's quite funny, but I don't like to clean the car in the morning before I'm driving. So, of course, when you're integrating a sensor like the camera, you will integrate in the region of the field of view where you ensure that the wipers will clean the sensor. And this is all the time is a challenge to integrate the sensor in the vehicle. This is you have to agree with the OEM, with the supplier from the sensor. But what I would like to highlight is even if you have the radar sensor in place, there are technically some, here in that specific case, I suppose that the radar sensor was fine. Only I got the warning because the sensor, the camera sensor was dirty because of the ice. And in such situation, you have a safety feature. You say, okay, this function is not active. So I think, yeah, I mean, this is something which is already considered by the OEM. It's done correctly. But of course, if you're speaking about the level 5, you may need heating of the sensor, which would clean up itself, and that situation should be avoided from the integration in the system.
A new business, maybe it will trigger in the end when the new cars will arrive on the market. No? Now with COVID, we didn't think that there will be a role that will take the temperature of the people, and this will avoid. Will be people or maybe machines or automation. Okay, Ovidiu, if you want to also to enter in the discussion or questions or the other participants.
So to be quite honest, trying to reply to your question, I just think that if all the vehicles will be level 4 or level 5 autonomous, maybe they'll have like a huge parking lot where all the vehicles will be safely inside, and this would not happen in the first place. But also, as Gico mentioned, I think technology will find a way, because as it's visible and clear right now, there is a necessity. So where there's a necessity in the domain, this usually means that there is investment, there is high R&D, which is allocated to this, and in the end, it will turn out into some new form or reinvented form of technology reapplied to this specific problem in the domain.
Okay, thank you.
I have also one question for all, actually a small debate. Last year I participated in Germany at Hasu Partner Institute, a conference of 50 years of internet. It was a discussion between German and US regarding autonomous driving, which legislation is more restrictive or more permissive in order to apply innovation or to test these new levels of autonomy. What is your impression about this? Because only to conclude, being restrictive, actually you cut the innovation or you cannot apply innovation. Being too permissive, you can also have some risks. What is your opinion about this?
I think first question is more related to the safety. Of course, legislation scope is also to focus that all the traffic participants are in the safe mode. What I see, because of the electric cars are quietly well establishing now, I will see that maybe in the near future, in the first step, the car will be like a service, so that you will not own the car, you will book it and have it on the street clean and ready for driving. That would be the direction. And being in 25 years in development, I still have the feeling that we reached the level of 95% from the technology, from the experience we have. But the effort to have the 100% solution, I think maybe it has to be 5 or 10 times more. So I think reaching a couple of last use cases where in normal driving situation, you have the marking on the street, your vehicle is staying in the lane, all the markings are in place and so forth. But in our case, we observe with this specific driving that in 10 kilometers, because the marking are not safe or the vehicle detects that there is no line on the street, I get all the time the warning that I have to take the control. And I have the strange behavior that sometimes the vehicle is changing the lane without my intention. So, or when I'm trying to avoid a pothole, the vehicle will correct me. So what I'm doing in the morning, I'm just switching off the lane keeping system. It's not nice, but this is the maturity level. In some environment where you have all the streets clean and marked, it's fine. But in some situation, you don't have it in place. And coming back to the legislation, I think I don't see that, for example, the Vienna Convention for the traffic sign, it also helps a lot the traffic sign recognition. Some other countries are not using this Vienna Convention. It was a challenge for that. But of course, in USA, was every separate state had a different regulation, different indicators, and mostly you have an indicator that you have to stop here like a text written. The decision that you are not turn to left or turn to right is either once again a test. So, I mean, as Radu mentioned before, it's not only a matter of the OEMs, of the suppliers for the technology, it's a matter of all the participants it's like a city, it's like the country regulation and so forth. And combining all the information together would lead to the level 5 driving in the city situation. And of course, for the off-road enthusiast, is not very happy.
I will add something based on what Jiku said. If you consider that in the United States, you are very easily able to cut one car in two and then put some pieces from other, and you do a lot of dragsters and other gadgets, for sure, it is much permissive than in the European law. And there was also one project that we were working in the past. It was removing the side mirrors of the commercial trucks in order to change them with infotainment and cameras. But in Europe, we were not allowed. Of course, the project was for Japan mainly and Asia market. And there's, at that point, you were able to drive big trucks without mirrors. Yeah, I saw that now with the new Eltron and all this, also on commercial, I mean, also on the classical cars, this feature is inserted, but still, I think, at least in Europe, will not be so permissive than on the other countries. And this makes a bit the technology, or not only the technology, the prototyping and also what Jiku is doing, the testing and all this, to be maybe restrictive in some cases. But I think will be solved soon. Ovid, you want to close the sessions?
Yes, and I will close in a very interesting manner. From my point of view, I don't think it's so restrictive. Actually, I think legislators, from what we see in our examples at least, legislators are quite open to offering support for region testing and support for development and to move and facilitate this shift towards autonomous driving. Of course, this cannot happen everywhere all the time, but we see already good examples such as US, where they authorize tests in certain regions or states, or Nevada and so forth. We see regulators quite open. So actually, I don't think that I don't think that, at least in my opinion, they are restrictive, as long as the OEMs or the tier one suppliers can facilitate the safe development and the safe, let's say, the safety of the participants in the traffic and also the people using the test vehicle and so forth. So we see, in conclusion, we see openness, which is really good, and hopefully in the future we will see even more. Let's say we will see even more open arms, ca să zic așa, towards this type of mindset, because it's basically a mindset. You have to see the big picture. You have to see also towards the finish line where you are or where you want to go in order to reach that step. What intermediate gates you have to go through.
Yes, you're right. But also it's very important. There are many contexts. As Jiku said, you want to avoid the pothole and you maybe in front of you is other car. It is a lot of research also open, as you said, and thank you very much for your passion that you discuss. All the speakers until now like to share more, and it's normal because probably, like in your case, it's all your life or your professional life in this condensed 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But for us, it was very good that you share this information, and thank you very much for your effort. Now I will close the recording because I want to stay with me to finish the conference. But in order to special slots with recordings on each panel, I stop it and I will say few words in the of this event, and also I will go then the award session for participants to hackathon, where Continental, where Entity Data and Elrond Aeropart will participate as a jury, and also colleagues from ULBS, but Continental, Entity Data, and Elrond also have some how to say, some awards for students, some surprises. Okay, it was 1.5 hours where thank you very much. You were with us. You participated also as a speaker or a keynote speaker, but only a participant. I hope everybody learned from each other. We discussed, we started, of course, with personalities from Romania, Hasso Partner Institute, who is our, let's support, also material support. From Cluj IT cluster, the president from there, our rector, vice rector, president of the Senate, but also colleagues from National Council of Digital Transformation, and from State Secretary and previous State Secretary of Romania. But then we continue with artificial intelligence. We saw how machine learning could be used also in cybersecurity application, in smart health application. Also there, how to include Internet of Things development. But machine learning with computer vision, we saw now that are used in advanced autonomous driving. We learn how to start innovative partnership, how to what challenges are, what funding possibilities. We see that the future of work appears, it's present, it's not future actually, because we need to adapt due to the COVID-19, who create an acceleration of digital changes. in our life and in our how to adapt. Also, this moment is interest regarding our life, our from Sibiu, the of challenges that if stay together, the companies, the academic environment, especially the administration, we can speak the same language and to increase the well-being in Sibiu and also our daily life, let's say. We saw last evening what need is for attract the funding in research, but also to increase the human resource in research and academic environment, because especially in IT, we have a lack of this resource, the human resource. We see in this morning that the digitalization of services and the cloud support is very important, but also we need to have a green society for have still a good air to breathe. So, for this moment, I conclude, and I hope that everybody appreciate this first edition of Sibiu Innovation Days, and thank you everybody for participation. And I will share my, actually I will email to show a little bit few ideas about contest. Yes, actually I had it. Come back. Okay. Not enough. Not. Hopefully you can see immediately my screen. Can you see it? Radu, if you can see, please confirm, because, okay.
Yes, sorry, I was on mute in order to not bring any noise. Yes, we can see it now. Yeah, but now we see the other monitor, but still you can see. You need to maybe to display set it to swap, exact.
Okay. Then first I will start to congratulate all participants to the conference. Here we have the 8 participating teams. There are from different level of study and different cities of Romania. We invite, and in the beginning there were 10 teams. 2 of them drop out. We don't know exactly why. Probably don't have time, overlap some activities. So we have a guest from Suceava University, and from Transylvania University of Brașov. And also we have students from engineering faculty or master students from engineering faculty, but also student and master student from science faculty from ULBS. And a nice surprise, pupils and students actually from 11 and 12th class from Brukenthal National College, Samuel von Brukenthal National College of Sibiu. Actually, the projects, as I mentioned before, were rated by a jury consisting in 4 professors, 2 from engineering faculties, 2 from science faculty, specialists in software development, and also 4 personalities from companies, from Elrond companies, from Continental, from Ropardo, and from Entitidad. So they taking into account how their project framing within the chosen team from the list. Actually, they had this 9 panel was the team list from where they could choose what to develop. Actually, this edition because it was the first and we needed to move in online. Actually, it wasn't like a real hackathon. It was a combining between developing projects and hackathon session. And maybe the next year we will use all suggestion and recommendation and do better in case some are this kind of suggestions. We taking into account about the originality and how uses how could be used this application, the utilities, the business potential, of course, taking into account the sustainability and the impact on the market, potential or social impact, not only from business point of view, but also from social impact. Percentage of implementation of the proposed functionality as an idea, quality of the proposed solution for the received task. They have only 7 hours, but also how efficient was developed, what optimization were implemented, the architectural decision, complexity of concept, technologies, and algorithm that was used. Of course, we appreciate very much if we saw some user experience or user interface that was attractive, if their code be scalable or could be scaled, or the clean code or no matter surprise element. Presentation also was important, the capability to synthesize the idea, implementation and the demonstration of their project. All the participants will receive gift bags from Entity Data, as I said, from Continental, from ULBS, will be hard disk, yes, and SSD, of course, but now it is too much from English. And of course, Elron company will send participant by email some request because they want to provide you some Elrond gold coins. Of course, the first place will receive Ultra HD monitor, 4K. Second, another monitor, not the same, but a little bit with less capabilities, but a good monitor. And the third place, a printer. Before to start, because it's important to have some emotion to see the winners, we recommend each of the teams which are from Sibiu, if they can come to Lucian Blaga University Hasso-Plattner Institute, Hasso-Plattner Knowledge Transfer Center next week to take their award. And of course, could come one member of the team and to take for the rest of the colleagues, or could come all. If the people who are not from Sibiu, from Brașov and from Suceava, please send us by email your physical address, where we can send through how to say, the fast courier services to receive this awards, and of course to make a picture with them and send us back by email. Okay, I hope the emotion are finished, and let's see who win. The first place was a surprise, and they was obtained by a team from National College Brukenthal Sibiu, some teenager from Ilya Răzvan. Second place in a big team composed by students from engineering faculty. Cristian Beckert, Iosif Băncioiu, Răzvan Sădeanu, Lorena Olaru, and Melissa Stoișor. And third place is obtained by another team. I hope I don't make wrong. I think master student from science faculty, Eduard Crean Ștefănescu, Felix Husac, and Ion Lucian Nicolaescu. So the rest of the team will receive only this kind of surprise, but we hope to be motivated to participate to the next year. Thank you very much for your contribution. There were, as I understood from the jury, some of you don't understand from the beginning theme. Some of you don't communicate it in time and you lose precious time, and maybe for this reason was your project at least appreciated, not so least, but not to be in the first 3 places. Anyway, we wish you luck further. Thank you very much, and think positively, stay negatively if it is possible. Bye-bye. Congratulations to all. Thank you very much for participants in the hackathon. Thank you very much for speakers and for all people who stay near me, stay with me until the end.
I need also to thank you, Adrian, for the good job that you did. And this is something also not only benefit for everybody, for Sibiu, and also from our side. Thank you very much, and see you next year, as you mentioned.
Hopefully in front to shake our hands.
For sure, for sure.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.